There we go. Whoops. Okay.
Toon 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 Sahur hashtag 6767. Awesome.
Did you put that into production in Final Boss Esports?
No, I ignore that Discord when talking about this league.
Okay, that's what I was hoping. Okay, there it is. So, and then this is the spreadsheet that I built. You'll see the highlight. Nope, that's Ishan's Gmail. That is not what
I'm not gonna lie, this the Alloon guy, the 80 carry for Lashback, I actually I know this guy. He might do it a little bit. He's very good.
He is. Yeah.
I like him. I usually when I recognize a name, it's not good, but for him, it's good.
No, he's top rated on their. He's got the top PV on their team. So
I was gonna say I do it with him in like Masters. Master. He was like one of the best Aphelios I've ever played with.
Nice. How you doing, Tvan?
Oh, doing good. Work was, it was work. I work at a very, are you guys West Coast or East Coast?
East Coast.
East Coast.
Oh, okay. So you probably don't know the brand of coffee shop I work at, but it's very like...
Dutch Bros.
Yeah, it actually is Dutch Bros. Yeah.
I live in... One, they've invaded Florida. Two, I lived in Salt Lake.
That's right.
So, yeah.
Oh, wait. Really?
Yeah.
Wait, I live in Salt Lake.
Dude, nice. Yeah, I lived in Midvale for a few years.
Dude, I'm literally in like Midvale Murray right now.
Yep.
Like like the
Costco.
That's the Costco in Murray. That my work is right next to that.
Nice. Don't tell me don't tell anything more. This will be a publicized stream. Well, that's dope. I would actually love to catch up about that off stream.
Sick.
If you go to that,
it's very social.
Yeah, no, I loved living there.
Yeah.
If you go back to that spreadsheet link that I put, the one thing I wanted to give you for if you wanted to write it down or whatever for easy look, the pink names are at least their alter names. They're more popular names. So like the Tung Tung Sahar is Trinity, and then Kashmir is actually Slime. Tung Tung, the Trinity one, is in this game. I figure we'll just figure out how we want to manage that as we kind of figure out what's easy. Probably the most important one is going to be just the Chinese character names, being Zhao. I have a little inside joke with him from the 3 messages we have where I'll call him the Great One. I'm just going to probably clip that and send it to him. If I find the right call out for it. So, but yeah. So if you scroll down a little bit there, like we're row 19 and stuff, you can see where I just kind of lined up the matches for this week, just to condense things a little bit. So
yeah, it's sick.
So a few options there.
This is crazy.
And since we got a little bit more time,
client issues, classic.
That's okay. Jesse's not in this game, and Hopper is not in this game, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we don't have to worry about any female pronouns in this one. Shizen and Dunk are in, so those are probably like the shot call. Those are the more shot call types on the side of Astromeat. And then Kaiser and Alun, and we're just gonna have Alun in this one, it looks like. So I guess the bot laner there is gonna be pretty much gonna be trying to coordinate the team while he clears mid. And the only fun thing that's like a bigger question as maybe it's not gonna match now, or maybe we're gonna need help with Ishan to track how their point value is going for use of players throughout the league. But Lashback has a slight bottleneck of only having 2 supports for the season. So I don't think that's going to be of interest, and it's not intuitive to me yet to kind of figure out how to integrate that into the conversation on the show. But I figure that's at least worth mentioning. But yeah, I mean, those are the fun little things I've gotten with. I had a call with Tony the other day, and then Shizen has messaged me a few things. So
cool.
Yeah.
Been going crazy.
Huh?
We're going crazy with it.
Yeah, dude, seriously, this is more prep than my tier 2 casters do on a game day. Like, what the fuck?
Awesome.
Well, and this is
It's sick.
well, this is my third time doing something like with an actual like someone to cast with me. And you know, Ishin's not paying us anything, but I'm like, when I did the first one with Ishin and Dolphy or whatnot, I was like, oh no, I've had fun with this entire thing. And I'm a tryhard in anything I do. It's kind of where, like, if anyone in this community is like, you should be on my team, I'm like, no, you don't want me on your team. Like, one, if I do get my skill up to be worth it, I will be a super tryhard asshole. And I've never figured out how to curb it, at least in a solo queue environment. Maybe in a real team environment it would be better, but I also have, like, kids, so it's like,
Right.
you know, there's a reason I play ARAM only, you know.
Now the timer should be roughly accurate.
Cool.
I guess we've discovered that Riot's the one playing on the toaster.
Happens every time.
It's okay, as long as it's consistent. You know. What is it? I'd rather the
Well,
same.
Riot doesn't care about custom games because the only custom games that they run are on tournament realms. So
Yep.
and then from there they just
Yeah.
fix it. It's like there have been the same bugs of custom games
Mm-hmm.
like for ever since they existed. Like,
Well, that's what
Pretty
I've
much.
heard. Do you want to get it now? Go for it. My son's getting a Batmo little electric vehicle.
Heck yeah.
We won big,
Nice.
boys. He gets to show up the kid down the road that just has a Mercedes. It's like, you might have a Mercedes, but I've got the Batmobile.
real.
Okay.
Okay. All right, that center point summary thing will be fixed for next game.
Appreciate. Awesome.
It was like 3 lines of code that gave me the option to do it.
I felt like you could hear the pauses as I like tracked my eyeballs to be like, what's happening? That
yeah,
side,
but that's completely
That's
fair.
the player getting the champion. Okay. Ow, my brain.
It's a lot.
Oh, it's a lot to do that production. Like I've only done basic like, you know, Streamlabs integration things for like a chat or whatever. You know, like you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna write code for this. Like, okay, big flex.
It's been hard finding it's hard finding people to do production for me for this if I
Yeah.
ever can't be here.
Right.
Because the minimum requirement is like 4 monitors.
I believe no,
Because
no,
I
I
have so
believe
much
that.
stuff running.
I imagine you have a lot of projected windows on like
I
OBS to,
have
like,
5 monitors worth of stuff on my screen, and
Yeah.
some of them I have like layered windows. So like
Yeah.
like if I had 7 monitors, I could use them all basically.
Well,
Yeah.
you don't even use it like vMix, bro. Like
Yeah.
finding producers, because you know, like in the Siege space, like sometimes you know, like everyone uses vMix, and
Mhm.
like having to find another producer and be like, yo, you need to also have access to vMix, which is like $10,000.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, not doing
finding
that.
producers is not easy.
All right, we are loading into game.
Cool.
Send us in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Rift. Tvan, how are we doing, my man? Welcome to the game.
I am doing great. Pumped to watch some League of Legends. You know, I woke up this morning watching some LCK, catching up, prepping for today. And now we've got, I mean, just when you're reading down the list of champions, when I was, you know, listening and getting ready during that pause timer, I just knew that this was about to be a banger. I mean, come on now. A Mumu versus Zed? Sure. when do you see that? Like,
I see that, and I expect
so awesome.
I see the Amumu versus the Zed, and I was like, this is gonna be an abusive early game here. If Hashi and Dunk get on the same page and invade on Jagan, it's gonna be pain early game for top side of this map. I'm expecting maybe an even trade, or at least some dominant spot side. And Panda Boy coming in early, trying to harass Dunk, giving space for Jagan to... Oh, what? Did he level up the wrong skill there? It looked like he had his hook shots in. That was weird. But yeah.
Yeah, it's good for the Sion matchup, but that's... I mean, it's interesting because now we see that they're trading in the top side, so Sion is completely mitigating any of that early wave going on top side. Camille missed 3 minions for that invade, and the thing is I don't really think it's going to affect the jungle clear all that much because Zed is just one of the fastest clearers in the game, even post-nerf. So, yeah, it's annoying, and you lose HP, but I think he's still going to beat Amumu.
Yep, level 2 ticked over here for bot lane, asserting their dominance. Again, the power of the Ezreal Q in the level 1, just enabling the push, and the short range on Kai'Sa, just limiting the options. Also, did not get the camera shot of it, but Panda Boy lost a lot of health in that trade as well. Missed the minions, 8 minion difference this early in the game in the favor of the Sion, but also a major health bonus. I've never heard any real hard stats on it, but one of the things that I think is very underrated for a Sion, especially in the early game, is how that W health stack adds permanent maximum health. And I feel like that's a unrealized health regen, stat, if that makes sense. Like, as he's hitting minions, he has his passive regular health regen occurring, but then he's also getting like bonus health points in real time. And it just feels like that probably sets him up to be way healthier, way easier than other top laners.
Well, especially because Camille took Conquer, which she kind of does need. It's nice in this matchup once you hit later game, but with Sion opening up with Grasp instead, you're getting that regen on the Grasp procs. Mm-hmm. Also, the thing about the Camille Sion matchup is like, it's infamously like, you look at it, you're like, oh, Camille's a tank buster, she's going to win. But it actually isn't until later that it happens. You kind of have to wait for your Sheen item to come online, because, you see there that, sure, Camille shouldn't get hit by that Sion Q. You need to space a little bit better on that. But, Sion actually does a lot of damage early. But speaking of a lot of damage, Ezreal and Braum, very strong level 1.
Very much abusing the situation here. The Trinity's going very low. Looking a little bit dangerous. Trying to get some extra damage sent back. Jagan's showing up. That's an awkward gank from him. He's got it back. Excuse me. Dominance asserted, but priority maintained. Just for the viewers at home, just so you're clear on it, our mid laner there on the side of Lash back, we're just going to call them Zhao, or the Great One if he actually does anything great worthy. Panda Boy is super low here. He's going to flash, going to get the swipe off, does not die, so flash advantage in the side of Kaba, and that sets up a pretty good situation. And Zed with the first blood sneaks in on the bush. Jaga not there to cover, even really provide the safety. So first blood acquired there for Astromeat. That is unfortunate.
Well, that's exactly what you need as Zed jungle here. This is kind of going to be a difficult game as the Zed to be able to maneuver in team fights. There's a couple targets that you can kill pretty easily. I'm looking at the Aurora and Ezreal. Zed loves those tasty targets, but the Zed's worst nightmare is hard CC, and guess what? You have the Hextech ultimatum on Camille. Even the hook shot can make CC very easy, and then the whole kit of Amumu shuts down Zed with Braum right next to it. Zed's going to have a really difficult time if he doesn't get accelerated. Even if he gets accelerated, it's going to be more difficult. But obviously, the easier the game is, the more gold you have. So enabling him, especially pre-6, to be able to just get some items going and power farm hard, it's really great start for the side of Astro.
Definitely. But I've got to actually track. Stun on to Alune. I think we have a problem here. Jagan's arriving, but I think it's going to be too late. Barrier goes off. He's going to jump on in, flash, and Shizen's going to get the kill. Now he's trying to fight it out. Can he get another one on to Jo? He will be able to flash away, but he'll die as well. Double kill for the Kai'Sa, and now Jagan trying to get something back here, but Shizen's going to be able to escape. Trinity's the only one that passes, and support for AD carry is what you want. And now here, he's going to get it. Here comes Zhao, trying to get some recovery. 2 kills recovered by Lashback, but 2 kills on that Kai'Sa is not what you want. 1 kill for the Aurora and 2 kills on Jagan. it'd be nice. It's nice when you get a tanky character ahead a bit to buy space for your damage dealers. But if your damage dealers don't have damage to deal, they're just it's not the most ideal place. Charm hits. That is not a good exchange there. But trade acquired by Zhao to pull that one back. So a lot of big action bot lane. Shizen and Trinity pulling the trigger on that once that stun hit Lune, and we've got this is still a back and forth right now, Tvan. But we're getting some action. This is not going to be a sleeper till 30.
Kaisa getting that lead is so massive due to the fact of the way that this matchup operates. Being able to have a lead and be able to get kills and pressure onto Ezreal is massive. Again, a famously hard matchup for Ezreal, but early on is kind of his window. Movement, great for Kaisa to leave her alone.
And now the backstab here, Trinity has arrived here. He's going to get the lineup stun. That's double stun into both of them. I'm sorry, Luna, you're going to be put down again, and this is not good. Dunk's arrived to just throw some shurikens in. If they can get it in, oh, they're going to get it. Shizen dive unders, gets the auto attack. Dunk tanks up the turret shots with Trinity. This bot lane side is actually exploding. 4-1. We are not even 7 minutes into this game. Shizen's going to go back and finish an item at this rate. This bot lane is falling apart for Lashback.
Ezreal's job in this game is so difficult too, because who do you really hit? You know, like the front line is Sion. Ezreal can't really do damage to him until you get like third, fourth item, and that third, fourth item is going to be so late with how behind he is. I mean, look, he's on a Sheen tier. He's devastated compared to the gold lead that Kaisa has. And, you know, Sion are also accelerating his lead really well, choking out this Camille at a point where he's going to be pretty invulnerable, where Camille can't really win side lane until she gets her second or third item. You know, she needs Trinity Force, maybe Hydra. The spikes were a little bit more easy for Camille back when it was Camille's heyday of Divine Sunderer, and then you could just shred Sions on side. You need a lot more uptime for Camille on side nowadays. So far, Lash is looking really upset. I mean, yes, they have the Amumu and Aurora, so it's going to be up to those two, the mid-jungle, to roam around and start getting this top and bot lane back into the game. But like you said, it's kind of just an Amumu running at people, and if the bandage toss doesn't hit, then your gank is flundered.
Yeah, and what we saw earlier with just that last round of fights and kills, and hold on, we got Juggen and Panda Boy getting in, and the Unstoppable is going to be stopped. I'm sorry, you're in the Hexagon of Death. And the flash is going to come through. The other bandage toss does not connect. And Kava's going to get out with just a flash and his ult. Teleport coming in. I think Hashi's looking for a fight. That teleport's going to take a long time. 3 men have arrived. The stun from Joggen to save himself, but he is now so low. If they push in this wave, they're going to be getting turret plates. And I'm sorry, Joggen and Pandaborg have to run to tier 2 to escape this dive.
Yeah, they're going to continue to try to make this top play happen because they know they're missing a lot mid lane, especially Hashi. Oh my god.
He went in for it. He gets the kill and gets out. 1 health on Hashi. Astromeat have identified they are in the winning position, and they are not scared about Lashback penalizing them for overreaching. Hashi gets away with literal murder there. And this game is starting to blow up here, Tvan.
I mean, Hashi is still kind of the biggest loser in that fight, missing 2 waves mid and turret plates. And this is allowing Zhao to get a really great roam time around a big play bot lane.
Aurora has arrived here. Shujin's going to be in trouble. He's going to get the 1 kill, but the Ezreal's getting blocked. His damage is not going through. They're going to be able to take out both. Ezreal with the double kill, shut down gold, put into his pocket. Counterplay has arrived from Lashback. And looking at it, Shizen still topside, Aurora number 2. So Lune, there we go, getting closer. Still a 700, 800 gold lead for the Kaisa. We're seeing some counterplay at least. Panda Boy's still eating these Qs. And I'm sorry, Lune, you've been attacked. And Dunk, you might be trying to overreach here. The pop has not occurred, but the auto attacks are coming through. Luna's going to survive. And now that's 3 kills over to the side of the Ezreal.
Yeah, I think if Zed hit a single Q, Ezreal dies there, but the triple shuriken just all being missed. And I was bringing up the fact that Zhao was kind of the biggest winner of that top play. Yeah, Panda Boy was missing a lot of waves, but those are waves being split 3 ways with the whole top side also sharing the 1 plate. But Aurora got 2 free waves to push in and get an XP lead. Got 2 plates going on in mid, and then got to go roam down bot, get a kill and an assist, and get some of that wave as well. Aurora's looking really strong, about to achieve her first item. And like I said, it's just kind of up to the mid jungle to continue to accelerate the map. That's kind of what both of these mid laners want to do. Ahri doesn't really want to stay in lane. She's now level 9 with Malignant, so she can one-shot any wave with a single Q and an E, couple auto attacks on the melees, and I mean, that Aurora damage is just sickening. 5 Dark Seal stacks on her as well.
That was gross to see. Hashi might want to roam to take advantage of the low cooldown on the ultimate, especially with that Malignance. But if you're going into top lane or bot lane with half health, that may not be the most advisable action. The Chemtech Drake, first Drake up. The stun almost catches the prediction here. Counterplay from the Ezreal. Ult is going to tag Shizen. We're entering a situation where now there's only a 200 gold difference between this Kai'Sa and the Ezreal. Panda Boy still eating this AoE damage from Kaba. I don't know what Jagan's looking for. Level 8's acquired. His ultimate is available, if I'm reading that correctly. I'm kind of curious what the next round of action is going to be. The bot lane is still very volatile. The top lane feels very secured in the favor of the Scion, and we're having a big fight here about the dragon. Luna's going to get the kill. I'm sorry, you don't get to steal that dragon there, Dunk. He will be cleaned up. He will be secured. And Flashback fortifying their situation. The lead is still in Astromeat's advantage, but only by 700 gold. 1,000 gold's been recovered in the last, 5 minutes.
Well, the thing about the Astromeat's comp, which is really sad for, especially, I think Shizen's going to be the biggest loser of the way that this comp operates, is there's not really any direct engage that Astromeat has. And, Kai'Sa loves to play with engage. Yes, she can kind of front to back and shred tanks, but, having someone to proc plasma with her and be able to dive and give her space off of those plasma procs is very useful. But I mean, look at the comp. Who engages? Is it Scion ult just right in their face? Is it Ahri charm? Is it just a raw dog Taric stun? I mean, it's definitely not Hashi with the way that mid is looking.
No, but he's going to get one shot there. I wasn't sure if that was going to play out, but the Between Worlds it locks in Hashi inside of the Circle of Death, and he is going to get pretty much blown up with I don't even think Jagan got the assist on that situation. Dunk arrives, flashes in, but can't get the ult into ultimate range. Shizen's going to jump in on Luna. We're having a big fight. I don't know why the Ezreal's still here. He's going to miss the stun. The ultimate's going to come through to protect Shizen, but he's going to actually get the kill. Luna makes it out with 1 health. I don't know how the auto attack didn't come through from Shizen to finish off that kill. Trinity, I think you're going to get contested. We're going to have a little support action. Luna's going to have to play on the very edge of this. I don't think they're going to be able to get Trinity even any damage onto him. Yeah, that was a fun little exchange there.
Yeah, Lune, I mean, just that Ezreal has no English under his belt. That is a full Chinese Ezreal, and good combo onto Trinity. Lethal tempo stacked, but
if Luna can get a Q on, the wave's coming in. If they clear this out, Trinity's gonna be in trouble. He needs to leave. Kai'Sa is coming through. This might be an overstay on the side of Luna and J-Web. Shizen has arrived. There's no more help. The teleport's coming in from the Ahri, and Luna, you've overstayed your welcome. You got to get a counter kill, but it's going to be picked up by Hashi, and that is a kill apiece to the mid laner and to the bot laner on the side of Astromeat. So long overstay on the side of Lashback, getting punished for it. Panda Boy, I think you're in way more hurting, way overextended here as well. I think you might get run down. Ultimate not available, was used to be brought back, but this Q is going to set it. He's going to use the Hexagon of Death to lock him down. Kaba's going to get punched back. Still hits the Q. This is going to take a while.
Yeah, he'll eventually die. The injuries of Amumu will shred him, but here comes the reinforcements of Astromeat.
Oh, Hashi and Dunk have arrived, but I don't... The ultimate is up on Hashi. They can go for this. Jagan does the ultimate, but misses. Stun's going to hit. Wow. Oh, no. Hashi's going to get downed by the turret shots. Kill goes over to Jagan. Dunk looking for it. Extension with the shadow. Shuriken takes out Panda Boy. We are at 23 kills in less than 15 minutes.
Yeah, why not? Why not? This is low-key looking like a solo queue game. The overextension of a Loon bot lane to get punished by Hashi on the TP, and then she goes straight top to try to recover top lane. The thing is once again, Zhao is looking really good. Yeah, there's a gold kind of even in the side of Hashi. I mean, it's only a 400 gold difference, but look at the XP bars. That's really what I'm looking at. And so far, Zhao is just creating such a big lead. Almost a full level up on Hashi. And Ari, you know, she likes to accelerate the game early on, and mid game is kind of her stomping ground of 2 to 3 item. But having lower levels, especially when you're facing Camille and Mumu, these big HP bars, and Braum, and you're trying to assassinate Aurora and Ezreal, that actually does stack a decent amount of HP over the course of the game, you're going to start to struggle a little bit. And so you need to stay accelerated. You need to make sure that you're timing these bases and roam timers with waves, or else you're going to fall behind like we're seeing right now. On the other side, though, Kai'Sa with 2 items now. Berserker Degree is as well finished. Very strong at this point. And so for me, if I'm Astromeat, I'm looking for a fight around this Kai'Sa and making something happen, potentially around this dragon that's spawning in 30 seconds.
Yeah, we're going to have a windy Summoner's Rift for this game. Cloud Drake coming in. I'm curious to see if anyone's going to be able to make a proactive move to get an advantage. The Rift Herald's being summoned to provide the pressure. It looks like it gets spawned there mid lane by the Raptor Pit. It's going to get a charge and take out some plates. Turret's not going to go down. Dunk at half health. That does not bode well. Top laners with TPs available, but the Trinity Force finished on Panda Boy is really kind of setting up a much better exchange. And the Dragon is spawned here. They're jumping in, and that is a blown up. Oh, who is that? Dunk put half health. He's gonna have to run away. The immortality keeping him alive, but now the front to back from Lashback is going to be putting in some major pain. Dragon trying to run forward. Shizen trying to track down Zhao, but I don't think he's going to get what he wants. He's going to get a couple of auto attacks. The Q goes through. He's going to use his ultimate to come on back. It's going to be a mutual takedown. Yeah, Shizen and Zhao go down. Shutdown's over. Gold over to Hashi for taking out the Amumu. The Dragon has not been claimed. Am I saying this right? Yeah, Dragon is still up. So a 2-for-2 exchange. No one secures the objective, and we're right back to the 1.6k gold lead on the side of Astromeat.
Just a little too fast for the side of Lash. They had a good pace going on there, but it was actually Zhao that sped it up a little too soon. Using a full combo onto Zed to secure that kill, which is useful, you know, especially when it's a dragon contest. You want to make sure the smite goes down, but when you're using all of your abilities, including your ult on that one low HP target, then you're kind of just out to dry, especially when you're flanking and you're not reconnecting with your Braum Ezreal frontline. You're just going to get collapsed on, and that's exactly what happened. Shizen had a lot of uptime in that fight, narrowly dodged the E of Aurora that saved her life and was able to secure that kill. And coming back out of the base, Ari's going to have her ult a lot faster than Amumu, and so...
Yeah, this Camille's being activated. I was wondering to see if that dive is going to come through. They've isolated... The Kaba's going down. Nothing's really captured. Hashi's already spent out his ultimate. That was traded with no other ultimate. Jagan just actually bandaged him. And this Cloud Drake might be finally being taken. Lashback using the Braum to really play defensive frontline. That is a strange direction. Between Worlds is going to come in. Shizen is destroyed. And doesn't look like Trinity is going to be lasting much longer either. So the team fight prowess of just these four champions in the bot lane, on the bot side of the map, is really coming through. Hash is going to come in, get the charm. Turret's going to go down. Panda Boy is going to make him work for it. But that kill will come back. But the turret's already been acquired. One turret lead on the side of Lashback to the one on the side of Astromeat. Gold is back to even, and really looking down the line, the advantages are on the aren't really that important. The Aurora is 500 up over the Ahri, and the bot lanes are back to equal. In fact, 20 CS lead on the side of Ezreal with a 2-level lead. Holy.
Yeah, I mean, also, they have 3 dragons under their belt. I mean, they're on Soul Point already at 19 minutes, and Cloud Soul is not something that you can really laugh about. It was a laughing stock of a soul, but now as the game has matured and developed, and as well as the soul been a little bit buffed, it's one of the best on the patch. I mean, an ulting Amumu sprinting at you, an ulting Aurora sprinting at you. Flash forward
Stun's
from
gonna
Tarek,
land.
though.
The block's gonna work. Illumin's gonna be able to get through. He's missing. They're missing quite a lot of damage. Now he's gonna finally get jumped on by Shizen. The invulnerability lasting plenty long for Shizen to finish it off. And now the Braum has been executed. Hashi getting jumped on. Panda Boy is gonna ult him, and this is gonna be it and over. Counter kill. Now can they get out? Dunk in hot pursuit. Shizen looking to pick something up, but his ult's already been used. So a counter kill for the side of Astromeat, but I don't think there's anything on the map for them to take. Like, gold on the side of kills is great, but you're still missing objectives. The sole point being on sole point for Lashback is a prime real estate situation. They get the mid lane, so they get something out of this. It feels like Lashback have really at least set themselves up very well on the objective side and sort of a map control side. And while the gold lead has, as the graph shows, has been mostly in Astromeat's pocket, they've not been able to accelerate it so much that it's actually gone out of control like it did in those first 5 to 10 minutes. We're at 17 kills apiece.
Yeah, the game hasn't fully broken. The game is really going to break here in about 2 minutes with this Soul Point Dragon. The thing that I just keep getting worried about is on Lash's side, Loon just keeps overextending and keeps just disrespecting Astromeat as a team. And he is getting punished for it every single time. You know, overextending in mid, overextending towards bot, getting TP'd on, getting ganked by the 3-4 man. You know, you can do that if you have a team around you. But when you don't have anyone around you, when you don't have your mid or jungle, they're playing for a different play topside, you can't really make a play like that.
We're trying to get the Scuttle Crab here. Ult's going to be used by Hashi, but that'll be up in like 60 seconds or less. Jump on in. Trinity's going to get a lot of damage thrown onto him. Alune ready for the lineup, blows him to smithereens. And Panda Boy beating up on this meat sack. He's going to eat the Q, swipes in the wrong direction. I think he might have overplayed his state. This Vamp Scepter is giving him a lot of health regen. He's going to flash the slow. And Cobb is going to be able to at least repel Panda Boy for a little bit longer, buy some time. But this does give Lashback control of the topside river, more or less, with that kill onto Trinity. Tryzen gonna have to run for his life here. Those Qs are gonna hit like trucks, and if any amount of stun locks in Tryzen, he will be taken out. Bandage toss thrown in. Looks like it landed. Tryzen is dead, and so is the Kaisa top lane. Oh, my bad. Dunk on the Zed died top lane. So now we're at the point. Yeah, we're at the point where Lashback is actually being very proactive and moving really, really forward on these.
Playing forward, but also just like punishing the mistakes of Astromeat, as I was saying that Lash was doing, just overextending. I mean, Dunk dying. Honestly, now we're getting charmed, but going right into jogging.
Hashi was hoping for the best here. He's going to be able to dash out, and the invulnerability is going to save him, but he's going to get caught by the bandages. Jogging trying to get it. Loon just jumping straight forward. This chair can't kill him. He can stun him, and now the Sion has arrived. The smash goes over the wall. So one of the things that I was informed talking to some of the captains on these teams is that if you're actually like on a plus 45 point value, you've got the dog in you, as I was told, to take over a game. And I think that's what Loon is trying to do on this Ezreal, and that's why he keeps overextending. But at this point, there's no one else on this team really making a lot of great errors. Joggin's carrying their weight plenty with the Mumu showing up, ulting, locking down the Zed, locking down Hashi, locking down Tryzen. I think Loon is just overextending way too much, as we've pointed out. Doesn't need to carry that hard. They're going to win this way out. The Camille has been allowed to scale up and is going to pretty much the Ravenous Hydra has been completed now. The HP issue is solved, and there's no grievous wounds on the side of this Sion. And this is going to be another turret gone and done. Charm's going to hit. Ult goes out. Panda Boy is going to try to get some counter. He's going to actually jump on in. Zhao has arrived. He's going to be able to get the... Oh, Zanya's Hourglass, but that is perfectly timed. The Sion has arrived, but I don't know what he's going to be able to do with this. He's going to walk away. Loon, you don't need to be there, my friend. Alrighty.
I mean, I think the point that you made a couple minutes ago is exactly what we're watching. Is like, what are we fighting for? Earlier, about like what felt like an eternity ago, 2 minutes ago, when Alune was just extremely overextended, and did get a good kill on Kaisa, but nothing was up. Like, yeah, you're pressuring tier 2 for sure, but your overextension led to a mistake which lost soul for yourself. Yeah, you can continue to scale, but retroactively now is going to potentially lose the Baron. He steals it.
Jagan goes and steals the Baron, and this fight is on here. Loon's not even available. He's up in 6 seconds. This is a great steal. Shizen's going to go off right now. He's going to take down J-Web. J-Web's going to flash over. The Camille has to ride, but I'm not sure if you want to be here. Going to get knocked up. Going to get one counter kill onto Trinity. Here comes Loon with the downtown true shot barrage. But it's just going to get cleaned up. Loon trying to get the counter kill. Going to get the kill onto Hashi. So this has been mitigated. The Baron buff has been removed from all of Lashback. Not even Loon has it. And now he's out here in the middle. He's going to try to take out the Zed. Q misses. Shizen is going to clean that up. So 3 alive still inside of Astromeat. That mid tier 2 is going to go down. Or at least get really heavily yeah, it's going to go down. Loon might have thrown the game with that with not that one just here in the mid lane, but the previous death when he got caught in the mid bushes.
I think everyone collectively on that team has thrown some part of this game. It's just been like a basketball game of just throwing back and forth. To be honest, like it feels like I'm watching a solo queue game rather than people being in comms. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I more mean they aren't communicating what their play is as a whole, and they're not collectively like. I can see the scatterbrain of the team. Earlier, when Alun made his first throw in mid, there was a top play happening, and it didn't even feel like JWeb or Alun knew that the top play was happening, that Joggin was committing to trying to kill Hashi topside. It doesn't feel like they really know where each other are. When Panda Boy was TPing into the pit, it didn't feel like his team knew that he was TPing into the pit. His team was like, oh, we're out, we're good. And they were good until Panda Boy was there to reaccelerate the fight. It's mistakes like that just continue to snowball your lead in the opposite way. You just keep putting yourself in an unfortunate situation. At some point, you just got to stop the bleeding. You're continuing to open up the wound over and over. Just stop the bleeding, recover, reset, you're fine. Like, they're still in a really great spot. Their scaling is still really good. I mean, it's an almost 4-item Ezreal. They're chilling. Just reset, take a breath, and make a game plan of what the next couple minutes are actually going to look like.
Yeah, and this is where we're seeing the greenness of both teams, and we'll be seeing this in these first few weekends of this league, where these teams are playing their first official games together. They might have had some scrims earlier in the week, but we're seeing where the pressure is now applied in a real game. And Loon is like the at least known shot caller, at least in early week 1. We're going to find out as the season progresses if there are any other vocal players on the side of Lashback. But if Loon's the one making the calls but is super overextending, and the mindset and all the weight of this game may or may not be being put onto their shoulders, there kind of has to be a question of, is there going to be more vocal people on the side? Because Panda Boy, if he wants to be the split push top laner side, and that's how they want to play when he's on the map and he's in the game, he's got to be communicating what his intentions and what his plays are as well, so that the other 4 can coordinate if they're trading out objectives on the other side. They're looking for a fight, TP timers, and things like that. So the messiness is expected in that this is the very first game for both teams inside of the season. I think we're about to get a big fight here. Kappa's going to face check into this. They are going to be able to put some hurt on him, but I don't know if he's going to die. Joggin's gone in and stunned up a whole bunch, but there's no one there to follow it up. Kappa is still eating all of the damage. Dunk is coming in from the side, gone right back in. Between Worlds has arrived, and I'm sorry, both teams are melting. Hashi's going to go forward, misses the charm, and now Zhao trying to catch. Alun has come over. Trinity's going to have to flash the wall, and that is a 2-for-none exchange. Alun trying to get something back here. He's going to be overextending once again, and now Shizen jumps in, takes him out, and now, I'm sorry, there is an overextension as a theme on the side of Lashback. Jagan went way past Kaba, got all in, got like a 3-man stun, but there's no one to put it. They hadn't gotten through Kaba yet.
Well, and also, they have to fight through Terrical, and you have to bait it out, and you can't ignore Terrical, right? The thing about Astromeat's comp is they can absorb a lot of the damage that Lash has, and Lash has a lot of damage, but it just takes time. You need to give Aurora a couple resets and motions of her kit, and you need to give Ezreal time to get his damage down. He's going to do a lot more damage now that he has Sordias, but Camille needs to flank. Amumu needs to kind of find the angles that he did earlier.
Hash is going to get caught out here by Panda Boy, and it's not going to take long. I don't even think the assist's going to be able to go over. He's going to need one more catch. Ashy's going to have to use his ult to get away. Alun, he's about to get jumped on. Shizen in hot pursuit. Dunk here to provide coverage and support. He wants to get onto Panda Boy, but the stun's going to be there, and I'm sorry, you're going to overstep. And that's going to be the jungler down. Baron up in 50 seconds. Dunk's going to be on a death timer of 45. And it looks like we're trying to step forward here. Loon trying to get some poke. Trinity in some trouble, and he's going to be taken out as well. It's 2 down on the side, and Zhao has arrived. They're trying to get on to Shizen. Q is going to land. Pullback's going to pull him in half. Between the Worlds going to finish him off. JWeb steals the kill. It might be this next purple worm might be going over to Lashback if they can keep it clean.
Yeah, they can get mid and bot push, but their waves are just all pushed into the side of red side due to that last earlier fight. Once again, Astromeat just overextended, as you said, just pushing their waves a little bit too far up and contesting waves when their team isn't fully on map and reset, ready to go. Now they get full topside jungle, 20 seconds still on Shizen. This Baron should melt pretty fast with Amumu damage, and Ezreal being nearly 6 item. Looking at a 7th item after this spawn. So unless Dunk gets a crazy steal, but they're still looking to TP. They're going to contest this 4v5.
And they're going to be coming on in. Dunk looking for the steal. He's going to get in. He's going to steal it as well. Secure's not in. Kaba's in the middle of the whole team with a big knockup, but none of the other damage has arrived. Dunk's going to jump on in, but he's going to get caught up by Joggin. And now Panda Boy, he's kind of 1v3ing the other side, and I think Astromeat's going to want to run for the hills. Kaba looking for an escape, looking for a way out, but he will be taken out by Zhao. So we've had an equal exchange of worms, but it's not been in the best sense. Smite's still available for Jog and Trinity. He's gonna be caught between worlds. Will come in to lock in him and Shizen. Shizen's gonna get ulted. He's gonna get the invulnerability, but it's just gonna be a delay. He's gonna get knocked down. Ults out, and Panda Boy's happy with that trade. 4 people up. This might be the final push of the map.
It's gonna be close. I mean, if I was shot calling, I'd say just leave it at the inhib and just get super tempo with Soul being up, but I think they actually can pull it off with Ezreal damage. 5 seconds on Zed, 8 seconds on Ari. This might, yeah, like you said.
No, game one.
I didn't realize they had 3 grub. It's just easy.
Game one has been locked in. The first match here, their first game of the season. Lashback will take game 1, will secure the Nexus, and Astromeat on the back foot now as we head on into game 2.
I mean, I don't even know how much I can really break down there. That was just pure chaos. Just pure fighting, back and forth. And unfortunately for Astromeat, they made the bigger mistake later in the game where it's even more punishing. But a game of table tennis was on my screen of League of Legends. And, I think both teams are probably not super proud of their performance, or I don't think they really should be, due to the fact that, it wasn't clean for either way. It didn't feel like either team really had a good sense of what they were wanting to do the whole time. I mean, Lashback, per their name of the Deadlock character, like just perma fight and just go in as soon as you see somebody, go in and fight them. Mm-hmm. Gotta respect sticking to your own name, but I mean, yeah, the gold graph shows the roller coaster that was this game. Nothing more than a 4K gold lead at one time, and I don't know. It was just a messy game as what you'd see normally on a game 1 with no scrims.
Well, and here's what's sort of crazy about how this game progressed. The gold graph shows us that Astromeat were at least in a gold advantage throughout most of this game. The advantage never really went over into Lashback. Like, we're looking at 25 minutes and they get some advantage. They get a little bit, but not even like a 2K gold lead. And the game ends with Astromeat in the lead for gold. It's a small lead by that point. What is more impressive is that in 32 minutes, Lashback secured, actually won. Dragon Soul never got secured, but Lashback got the soul point by like, what, 20, 25 minutes or less? They were really ahead of that, and then between either Lune or Joggin's calling, they stopped prioritizing to get Cloud Soul, and we just ended up in a fight, and there's such a mismatch of what their priorities were that they threw away what was their biggest leverage in the game. And that's, as we pointed out, it's a sign that they're new. It's a sign that this is the first time at least this group of 5 players is probably playing together, at least in an official for this league. And I appreciate that at least Loon probably made the call there, especially being alive as Ezreal, to finish out the game. But now it's going to be a question of what rotation of players is going to come through from both teams as we head on into game 2, and we find out what Astromeat wants to do for at least their comp based on who they bring in. Same for Lashback. Are the captains going to rotate themselves in or out? Shizen here for Astromeat on the AD carry, and Tony on the back line off on the bench for game 1. We're still waiting to see, I believe, if game 2's roster has been submitted. Let me see if any's been. Nope, nothing yet. So I don't know. I think it's a very fun, exciting start to the game. It's nice to know we've got a lot of proactive players, and a solo queue game can be really fun. It didn't look like we got too highly coordinated. It was, I don't know. It was fireworks, you know, fireworks in the backyard.
I mean, that's the best way to describe it.
Mhm.
I don't know. It was fundamentally just a very interesting game. I like that you did give the props of, you know, realigning their priorities when I don't really think they communicated what their actual priorities were in the game. If they were prioritizing, you know, dragons, they would have prepped for dragons at proper timers and not overextended in mid 30 seconds before a dragon. But, you know, it's things like that that kind of show off what really is happening in calls. But from there, as you know, this is, as you said, you do have to figure out what rosters are before you even talk about draft, and then from there, you have to think about draft and things like that. We do have a intermission between games to look at, so we're gonna toss there soon, and then we will be looking at game 2 in just a bit, guys.
Cool. I was actually going to prompt you if we weren't going to go to break, Tvan, to be like, I feel like they got their dragons, quote unquote, by accident. Like, dragons, like, I'm getting dragons. Y'all figure out what you're doing. And then he got 3 dragons. Because Astromeat just never got their map awareness together to be like, you know, we should probably worry about dragons.
I mean, they did have, you know, they had mid and bot pushed. They didn't really have to have, you know, leash because it didn't seem like Astromeat was even trying to contest. And I think if they did try to contest, it would have been a little bit more of a fight.
Mhm.
But yeah, the timers from Astromeat were just so off on dragons, which, you know,
So it goes.
timers for both teams were really just awkward and weird.
Yeah.
But
So is there a perk now on a rune or something like that that gives you a 7th item as a champion on Summoner's Rift?
for 80 carries, their quest puts boots in a slot that does not block any items. So yeah, you get a
Okay,
7th item.
nice. Okay, that's fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty...
It's very rare that you see it, but
It's got to go late game. Like, they got to get to, like, 70k gold on their side to be able to get to where they're getting 6+ items. So, you got to hit, like, 45 minutes these days, I bet. Cool. If you're talking Shizen, we can't hear you. I don't know if you are, but I feel
I'm not talking. I'm
Alright,
also
cool.
not Shizen.
Dang it.
Shizen's in game, bro.
I've forgotten names. Damn it.
All good. There's a lot of them.
Ishan. Okay,
I
it's...
don't blame you.
I'm goofing on the shh.
Yeah, it's fair. It's not too far off.
Okay.
Remind me, is this best of 3 or best of 5?
3 block.
Heard. Wait, 3 blocks, like 3 games always?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Even for the finals or whatnot.
Oh no, finals is very different.
Oh right,
Yeah.
there's a whole.
Well,
Finals
actually, like
best
the
of 7.
best of 7
That's,
shit,
yeah, it's the best of 7
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. That's not even a best of 7 because, you know, calculus. Cool. 2-2-2.
Yeah. Playoff format, I wouldn't worry about till we get there because if
No.
you look at it now, you're probably gonna forget by the time we get there.
No, I had the same mindset for like contacting the captains. Be like, you know, I'm just gonna go week by week.
Yeah, fair.
Whoever's available, you know, and who's coming up, hit them up. You know, go from there.
Yeah.
Figure out who talks, who knows things. Like, Jackie feels like someone that I might hit up, like when I don't have a game coming up, just to get a vibe check, because they feel like they're pretty a part of the community and stuff. So,
For sure. He's a good one.
Yeah. Any small notes, Tvan? I felt like at certain points I was maybe over talking a little bit, but I figured I'd just check before we roll forward.
Yeah, man. That's kind of the biggest thing of like, because these games, I'm the thing about like this kind of league is like I'm assuming it's just gonna be so like
Chaotic.
it's gonna just be like fight after fight. Yeah, the faster that you cut the play-by-play, the more time I have to actually like develop a thought, and
Yeah.
then the sooner it is for me to be able to throw to you at a proper time of play-by-play.
Right.
And like for me, like it's a good note and good reminder for me that I need to compensate what my points are to be shorter. Even though like there are like fun points to bring up that are a little bit more complicated, but I can't always bring those up because they're just like, I don't know, I'm just used to watching League and casting League that people respect the natural tempo of the way that comp League should be played.
It gives you
okay,
it's closer to tier one
okay.
stuff, that they let you breathe.
I'm like,
and
oh,
have,
we finished Dragon, and now there's not going to be a fight for 3 minutes. That's what I'm used to. I'm just gonna run at mid and just see what happens. Like I'm just I don't know if it would be funny or not, but like my reactions during some of these fights are literally just me just shaking my head. Like, what am I watching, bro? Just
I'm loving the part where
pure confusion.
I think might have been you or might have been Dolphy, but I was like, yeah, I'm ready to watch some chaotic fun League or whatnot. Like it was meant to be. It might have been Dolphy, and I'm hearing you being like, nope, this guy likes watching like clean, organized League, like bunch of fights good. No one likes to watch like a really boring, long, drawn out chess match, but could we?
I mean, there's a mix between the two. You can find a fun balance. Like LPL, I feel like is a fun balance where there is the structure of good League of Legends. I think it's just like for me as the color caster, it's more entertaining for me to watch more of that structured League because it allows me to be able to do my job more.
Yeah.
Really,
Really,
when it's just fighting, it's like, he just went mid and died. Not sure why.
Yeah, Lune's in the bush, or Alun's in the bush. Not sure why.
Anyway, back to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't. If they get fast paced like this, it doesn't allow for a lot of setup of tension and stakes for you to like point out like what's happening, what are the timers on teleports and things like that. So I get that.
Yeah, because it's like, I mean, this is some of the most unpredictable League of Legends I've ever seen. Like I mean, that game should have been over 5 minutes ago, like on the first Baron. But I mean, not actually. I feel like modern League of Legends is a 2 Baron game for the most part. But yeah, it's just like it's silly. I mean, I don't have like an opinion of it. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But
okay. No. I was trying to think in the latter half of the game. I was like, all right, shut up long enough to let the place breathe and let Tvan kind of come in and throw something in and not just keep. I watched one of the playoff matches for like Final Boss Coney Island, and I was really going off in chat, but I was listening to that, and the play-by-play guy just talked endlessly, and I was like, okay, nope, I know what I don't like, and it's this kind of thing. And this guy has the same tone the whole time as well. So I was like, alrighty, let me index what I know and care about. And
well, it's such a play-by-play trap, like
yeah.
Like I mean, I play-by-play Siege, so I know exactly. Like it's a canon event for play-by-plays to have to like be like, oh yeah, I need to like shut up, and something like, I mean, as we continue to work, like there's always like micro throws, and what I mean by that is like if there's like LCK does it really well when the games, or actually a lot of casters do it really well nowadays in tier 1 of League, where the play-by-play will do the game winning team fight and then give the color like this 30-second moment of like describing like, oh, blah blah blah, this will like, and now it looks like the game will end, blah blah blah, and then like they'll throw back to have the play-by-play have that triumphant moment of like when the Nexus is exploding. Like giving like those little timers of like, I will give it back to you, like I'm not just gonna take over your play-by-play, but giving you enough time to like take a breath and then have me be able to like, even if it's a little thing like, oh, Ashe is the prio target, everyone watch Ashe during this fight, and then that gives you something to play off
exactly
as well,
exactly yeah. That was
we're getting into chat here.
The minute 26 the timer is a lie.
Oh yeah, the timer's always a lie. I try to get it as close as I can.
I watched you
I can't
reset it
predict
like
these
3
people.
times before getting one.
Are you guys ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
All right, welcome back. We are getting into game 2 draft, second draft here. Lashback has actually picked blue, has gone blue side here. Astromeat's picking red side. I imagine for like counter picks. Is there any great meta? Is red side more favored these days for counter picks?
It's really personal preference for teams of if they prioritize just having that first pick. I mean, R5 is really nice, and having something on R3. I think R3 is actually more of like a better spot to be able to get something on, like sneak something, a crazy draft, in my opinion. I mean, it's hard because like I would love to use like tier 1 as an example of like what people's preferences are, but I think for these two teams it really is, it's also kind of based on like who do you have in your team, and we can see it on our screen. You know, are the top laners these players that really want carry top laners that need counter pick or need a little bit more time for the draft to develop? For me, like when I was playing comp, we were always wanting red side because my top laner was just like only played carry tops. So I always had to, you know, like we always went red side so that he could have R5. And so it just depends on the dynamic of players. I personally think blue side is really strong, being able to have like the 2-3. I think 2-3 is a really fun slot after a B1, but you know, I think it's preference. I think in this position of league and where we're at in terms of rank, I think it's just pure whimsy and joy of what diddles your fiddle, you know.
Right, I gotcha. So, quick rundown here. Astromeat, so Lashback Foundation, actually, let's start there, has done no change to their roster. They're still maintaining their 162 point value for across their whole thing. They're across their whole roster. Astromeat has traded at everyone but Shizen. So Aquanic in the top lane. Hashi's actually still in the jungle. Kashmir, who also is known in the community as Slime. And then Shizen still has AD carry, and Yallinger for the support. Bans, just to quickly run through them, Gwen, Aurora, and Renekton on blue side, and then Mbessa, Sivir, and Vladimir on the side of Astromeat. So very similar bans. The only real adjustment is like the Renekton and the Gwen to limit Aquanic's champion pool. And I guess Astromeat or Lashback doesn't want to give the option for Kashmir or Slime to take the Aurora. And right now we're looking at the Lucian has shown up. That was banned actually in the first game, and the Yasuo I don't know if that's locked in, but that is being hovered right now. That would be a very exciting pick. And the Diana, so we got a wombo combo.
An interesting one too. I mean, yeah, that's a very famous wombo combo. The reason I say it's interesting is like I don't think that Yasuo or Diana are really contested picks right now. And so like feeling the need to just slam it immediately is strange because it's really easily countered, especially when you're already seeing Lucian on the other side. You can kind of just pick some mobility in mid lane and then play some counter engage support. Pick a jungler that like something like a Jarvan, or you could play Briar.
Okay.
Forgot that champion existed. I'm sure that Briar is just gonna eat this Diana alive and just kind of eat up the whole combo. But yeah, now Diana and Yasuo are already really sad for just existing. Those are 3 champions I would not want to play into as Yasuo and Diana, especially as Yasuo. You kind of just get one popped now. Quite the strange, and we're just picking Lulu. I mean, that's a good. I like Lulu. You can play Lulu with a hyper carry here on 4 or 5, whatever you want. And then your comp, there's some recovery. You have a winning bot lane.
It feels
like also Diana, man, it's weird.
I think they're really I think Astromeat is really indexing into a basic, like, full front to back 5v5 team fight with at least very easy skirmishing options with the Diana Yasuo being able to roam together. I'm expecting this Yasuo to go top side. So the Lulu is setting up for a hyper carry like a Kog'Maw or a Jinx. Kind of checks out. and sort of makes sense because at this point it looks like Shizen's looking for like the main counter pick for the AD carry, especially since they get to at least see the full comp by the end of it if they so choose. Second ban phase, we have Echo banned for Astromeat and Lashback have banned Akali, so solo laners being removed and I guess a jungler. I haven't seen Echo a lot even in tier 1 play, so that feels like a very niche ban, I guess, maybe against Yagan or against Panda Boy.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's targeting mid with that Briar picked up. I'm assuming the Briar is just going jungle. I've seen Briar tops and it's just like, it's one of those things where it's just so, it's just the one tricks, you know, and it's like one person in all of NA that plays it. You know, it's like Light Rocket, Taric jungle. It's like, yeah, I guess you could do that. Victor being locked, interesting. So that means that Yasuo is going to be going top blind. Weird that they're not picking 80 carry on 4. I feel like allowing that flex to live of Yasuo potentially going mid or top and forcing Lashback to have to blind both solo lanes, and then Astromeat has the choice of, okay, what lane do you want as Yasuo, and if it is flexible, or even just threatening the flex. But instead of just killing the flex for an 80 carry that already kind of knows what kind of comp it's fighting. And yeah, also it's stacking AP with Diana, and Diana really wants 2 AD solo lanes. She wants to be solo AP so she can just, you know, not have to build into Magic Pen and things like that. You know, if Briar just buys Merc Treads, they're both really sad. You know?
Yeah,
so,
no. Mercury Boots are going to be really overpowered for Lashback on the side. And Mordecai, so Akshan and Mordekaiser is the final picks on the side of Lashback. Not sure, would expect the Mordekaiser to go top lane against the Yasuo, and then Akshan to go mid against the Victor. I'm not familiar with that pick. I am aware, this is what I've been enjoying actually, I didn't get to index onto this for Zhao, the hashtag rice. I can't remember what kind of dumplings that name is, but it's been very interesting to see Zhao come in and be a surprising mid laner on the Aurora in the first game. Now there's a Yone. This is what I was going to ask you. What are the chances that the Yasuo is actually going bot lane with the Lulu? And I think this Yone confirms that I think it's going to be Victor mid, Yone top, and 80 carry Yasuo.
Why are we picking Lulu with Yasuo? If that's my follow-up question for just the universe. If our intention is to have Yasuo be our 80 carry, or Victor be our 80 carry, or Yone, if it's Yone, God forbid, be our 80 carry, why are we picking Lulu? Lulu wants an auto attacker, bro. And Yasuo auto attacks. My bad. But like, not like Yasuo. Lulu, like would die. Okay, if this is Yasuo 80 carry, who is Lulu buffing? Like, no one is with her on the backline. It's just Lulu, because Diana and Yasuo are gonna combo the backline together, and then Yone is gonna try and follow up with Q3 ult. Like, it's just Lulu and Victor standing next to each other, and yeah, Lulu has shields, but like, I don't know if like Nami is better than that. If you want shields, play Karma, because she can do more. Like, Lulu needs an on-hit 80 carry, you know, like a Jinx, a Phelios, even like a Sivir, something like that. Zeri, you know, Yunara, you know, half the 80 carry pool is up. But picking Yone into a very anti-melee comp is also fascinating, you know, like, I don't really want to play Yasuo or Yone or Diana into Mordekaiser, Briar, Braum. That's just me personally.
There is a like a subtle and not easily seen thickness to at least the tankiness that is on the side of Lashback. They're currently like winning the front to back team fight in my head between Briar's own W providing that defensive capability, the engage from Briar, the engage sort of from Braum. That's one of the things that's lacking on the side of Lashback, but between sort of 280 carries for damage output, and then Briar, if Briar is allowed to get ahead and just start eating faces, there's kind of a problem in how this dynamic goes. I'm very curious to see how it, because Astromeat doesn't really even have any good engage on their part outside of like a flash dash in from Hashi, or something from Aquanic. So There's
I mean, that is their engage.
Yeah.
It's just Diana. It's just Diana engage, which is so one-dimensional. Which is Lashback. Like there, yeah, like you're saying, 3 people can just block it. Like Briar, Mordekaiser, and especially Braum can fully deny that one-dimensional engage.
So a little bit of a struggle session possibly on the way here for Astromeat in their game in game 2. This could be a 2-0, and if game 1 was any sign of it, we might be going into a very messy situation, another messy game, and we'll see if Alun or Shizen can call their teams into a victory here. And I believe we can throw, and we'll see you on the Rift. So I'm going to encourage you, Tvan, as your partner, as you know, as with you in this, to work on trying not to roll your eyes too hard that you hurt yourself.
Well, if you gave me 20 different, like if you gave me that 1-2, like just the Lucian screenshot of Lucian as the 1, and then Diana Yasuo on the 1-2, like you gave me that screenshot and you said, okay, build me 20 different drafts, I think I would pick one of those champions correct. I think I would be able to potentially have Braum, and every other champion makes 0 sense.
Well, and this is what I was looking at. I didn't get to bring it up in draft, but Yallinger is a tier 3, at least by the point value system in final boss draft. So I'm almost wondering if Yallinger is actually so limited on their champion pool that Lulu is the only thing they could potentially add to like.
One thing to keep in mind as well is it's not on the rosters page, but on the draft board you can see that Aquanic and Shisun are role locked, which means they're playing their off roles.
Okay.
They're both actually mid laners.
Okay.
So that kind of helps explain the Yone top Yasuo bot.
Okay,
they are mid laners.
Okay, so that would explain that, but I'll have to probably see that in my review of one of these games, just to spot where you're talking about and see how that informs the situation. So they played one game in their primary, but then the next game they have to be role locked into.
Well,
their
no. So no, it's when they signed up,
right?
You have the option to sign up as role locked, so locked into the 2 roles you sign up, and then you can sign up as like your off roles if you want to, if you just want to play a different role that season.
Right.
So that your point value isn't based off of like your main role performance, right? So like Aquanic, for example, if he had mid as one of his roles and he wasn't role locked, he'd be a lot higher in points because that's his main role. He's like 1500 LP in mid right now.
Okay. So
but because he role locked off of his roles, he's lower in points, and he can't play his main role.
Gotcha. Okay. So
it's like an optional thing players can do when they sign up.
That's a very interesting thing because Aquanic's like at 44 points, and that plus 45. I don't know if you agree with what Jackie told me. Where like 45 plus basically means like full agency will 1v9 the game.
Something like that. Yeah. Roughly around that number.
So that informs you that Aquanic has the mindset, but maybe not the comfortability depending on what he gets.
Yeah, sure.
Topside, which informs how much he was beating up on Panda Boy in the matchup with the Scion early game. But then, I don't know. That last team fight by the Dragon, he was positioning himself perfectly fine. He wasn't overstepping. It just didn't. Well, it played out in Astromeat's favor, that fight. So, okay, that's an interesting little wrinkle inside of how this goes.
So I'll try to in future let you guys know about like niche things like that between games when they submit rosters.
No,
because they could potential talking points.
Oh yeah, no,
or just like extra context.
Yeah, and that's where I was bringing up the Yallinger thing because I don't know if Yallinger is new or not. Does Yallinger have any limitations on their roles? Because it looks like their primary is.
No, he's a support main, and he has like a decent sized pool. Like he's usually an engaged player actually. So I don't know. That is weird.
Okay,
that I can agree with.
Okay, because that's where I was wondering. I'm glad. I guess I'm glad I bring it up on stream. But we're all learning as we go about these players and everything, especially me and Tvan. Because it's kind of like I kind of get the Lulu for the knock-up on the ultimate for just ult, but as Tvan highlighted throughout the entire draft, it's like this doesn't combo with anyone else.
Yeah, well, it's like in a vacuum, Lulu is good into Braum, and so that's why you would want to pair like a really good, strong late game AD carry like Jinx to be a bridge.
Yeah.
For what is, because the also Diana combo is really good, like 1-2 item, maybe 3 item, but after that it starts to really fall off. So you want to have like an insurance of an AD carry, which is why like Yunara. I mean, Yunara is probably the worst one, but like Yunara, Aphelios, Jinx, like all of those champs are really easy to just be able to play and slot in that spot, especially against Lucian Braum. Like you can kind of just chill. Even like Ashe, Ashe Lulu, like those are really hard winning lanes. And so it's like if your intention was Yasuo to go AD carry, then if you need to play an enchanter into Braum, which makes sense, playing engage into Braum is difficult. There are engages. Well, first off, there are engages that you can play into Braum. You can play Rakan really easily into Braum. That's a really winning matchup. Rel, it's okay. I mean, it's like like the reason Rakan can go into Braum really well is like you can bait out his shield really easily and you outrange him. Braum likes when people go melee range into him, right? Because you can get stacks on him and just beat him up. So like you can play Rakan, you can play Rel, yeah. I mean, people will even just take the bullet and just play Alistar and just go phase rush, and just take the L. Things like that you can do if you're gonna commit to this kill like Yasuo lane. But like Lulu is just the worst champ. Like I could give you a list of 20 champions that are better than Lulu in that slot, man. Like I just don't get it. It's fascinating. I don't know. Like I usually like I'm usually not super duper critical, but like I just I just have to be honest with that draft. That is genuinely the worst draft
I'm
I've ever
appreciating.
seen in my life. You know what I mean? Like that was bad.
I'm appreciating Tvan. You can't help but tell the truth, and it's what lets me know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time, like if they picked like an Aphelios, I've been like, okay. Well, there are some mismatches of combos, and some of these champions don't like each other, and that makes. And I'm going to talk about it as an interesting point of like, this might be a contingency that they don't get away with, but here are some good things that they'd have. I genuinely don't know where Red Side wins unless they just somehow snowball like crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
That is what a really hard losing draft.
Right.
But with that last game, after what I saw, like, you know what? Who knows? They might just win.
Yeah.
You never know.
We'll be in about a minute before the timer, by the way.
A minute early? Okay.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Bro, every time they hovered a champion, it just like got worse. I was like, what?
Like, okay, I guess I can accept this. Okay, maybe that's a little awkward. Okay, this is getting, and then fifth champion, the Yone gets locked in. You're like, no.
I thought my screen was bugged when I realized it was also a carry into Lucian Braum. I was like, huh? We picked what?
I would expect the action on Victor to be kind of like a nothing lane, with at least how Victor just likes to scale. But do you have anything you can just give me on that before we get
in? Victor actually is a pretty big lane bully because he can just walk up laser
Q auto
with the shield. But the thing is he can't do that to Akshan. Akshan will just beat him up. Akshan actually has a lot of kill threat onto Victor. If he's a good Akshan, which I'm assuming he is, like you can play this lane pretty crazy style, and also he gets pushed faster than Victor or earlier in the game than Victor does, so he'll be able to affect the map a lot more.
The boomerang and the boomerang with an auto.
Yeah, he one shots waves all the time. This is a really hard winning Akshan draft. Which is kind of like what they dropped the Victor. I was like, huh? And then like, dude, Mordekaiser and Yone. I don't think Yone can really win that. So like low key, all three lanes are losing, in my opinion.
Right.
The one that could be winning is Yone. I think you.
But
could
like
get
later,
an
I would
there.
imagine Yone later. After he's gotten.
I think he needs items. I think he needs Bork.
Yeah.
But if he gets a gank or two, he can accelerate that lane pretty easily.
But it's still the reality. He needs like levels. Are we about to jump in?
I am on loading screen right now.
Okay, I saw the minute arriving.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
No, I still expect the Yone to at least need to either get 1.5 items to then be able to just like 1v1 the Mordekaiser or whatnot. But
Well, that's the thing is like they run out of damage so fast. Like they don't have any consistent damage except for like maybe Victor.
Hopping in.
Yep.
In 3, 2, 1.
Alrighty, we are getting into game 2 here. I didn't catch it on the green screen back in the green room about this while we were loading in. We have Astromeat with what feels like kind of more of a mid-game comp. They've got to get themselves going, while Lashback, they might be able to sit comfortably here. If Alun can kind of mediate himself and mediate his own go-gettedness, this should be an auto win for game 2 for Lashback.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good point to bring up is Alun playing so aggressive in that first game, playing Ezreal and just eating forward on everyone. If he continues to do the same thing on Lucian and overstep, he will be a really easy target. Something that we talked about in draft is the really beefy front line that Lash do have of, Braum, Mordekaiser, Briar. He has a lot of space to play with, but if he's the one that's dashing in front of everyone and then instantly, can easily get polymorphed or just Diana flash ulted or something like that, that is the end of the fight. I mean, they do have Akshan to be able to play off of, but I feel like their insurance of late game is this Lucian.
And we're getting a lot of good trading. Priority into bot lane. The trading out here between the Mordekaiser and the Yone going pretty hard really early. Pot's on the side of Mordekaiser, so he'll have advantage, or at least be able to recover from that trade.
Using the exhaust on the Yone to secure that level 1 push. With having D-Ring and 2 pots, I'm very curious to see how that HP ends up, equalizing by the end of it. But other than that, it's pretty stock standard in terms of these other 2 lanes. Bot lane, just getting their push because, it's Yasuo level 1. He can't really do much, especially with Lulu. And Akshan can just heavy trade off cooldown and be able to burn the pots of Victor.
All right, what would we expect out of these junglers? Briar doesn't really get played a lot either in Tier 1 and even as a ARAM savant. Don't only get to see Briar every now and again when someone wants to be out of control. And we have an early level 2 gank, actually. Yasuo trying to get out. Aquanic has flashed. He might be able to get something in another fight bot lane. Luna and Shizen looking to see who's the more aggressive AD carry in the side of this series. He's going to dash in. Still a level 2 fight. This feels really excessive. And J-Web might be a little bit too far. Flash is out. No one dies on either side of the map. Okay. Sorry, you were saying about Briar.
Yeah, I'm not super in touch with Briar. I think I see him once every like a million games. But from my understanding, I mean, she has a point and click stun, which is really useful, which was actually really outplayed by Aquanic, being able to E forward, and then click back on the stun. So she can have a little bit of that early pressure, kind of similar to, some of those like OG gankers like a Rammus or like an Elise, where you can kind of just walk up, and if they're overextended, you can try and get the kill. But also, I'm pretty sure she wants levels and items. In terms of Diana, she for sure wants levels and items. She just wants to chill. Especially, she can't really do anything until 6, to be honest, and then from there they can skirmish. But speaking of skirmish,
3 bots out here. Luna's super low. J-Web still buying space. This is feeling really close. Like, first blood's coming bot side here. Level 3 has finally gone over for this Yasuo. So he's got his dash up. He's got his wind wall. And Jagan and Hashi just staring each other down. Alrighty. So not too much happening yet. Okay.
You can just tell all of these players are really wanting to fight, but none of their champions really allow them to fight. So they're still like clicking at each other like, all right, I'm going to get you. But nothing can happen,
Right. Staring very angrily at each other, menacingly.
Yeah, like Hash could pull you up and be like, "I'll get you." Not until I get my moonfall, but I'll get you.
Right. That's what I was expecting for the Diana, actually, to kind of bring it back to the junglers, is that until Jagan gets their ultimate and even Hashi gets theirs, outside of these slight ganks, because there's not a lot that at least Diana provides pre-6 for a gank. She's going to need some setup.
Right. Yeah, and there's not really any setup for her, as we've mentioned before. I think Briar has an easier time because she can kind of set up herself, especially with how much bot lane is trading. That means that their wave is always going to be pushing. We can see that they haven't left their side of the lane, or blue side of the lane, in so long. So I think for Briar, hitting one of these side lanes is very good for them.
All right, well, it looks like Lashback's going to be in a troublesome situation. The wave is pushing into red side. Doesn't look like Diana's going to be here anytime soon. This is a little bit of a dangerous position. Shizen reserves the option to run down this Lucian and get the first blood. Looks like we're having a big fight here. Yep,
I think that they do have kill threat bot lane. Not a lot of mana on a Loon, but yeah, with too big of a wave, they opt not to fight it. I was going to say, the exhaust being up on Yasuo and no exhaust for JWeb makes like things a little bit complicated for Lucian to play. I mean, he does still have barrier, but I think the all-in is still good.
The Diana is here. Trouble in Little China here. Shiza put up the wind wall to get the space here, but he might have overstepped here. Ashley's going to jump on in. He's not really going to get the damage on to Luna, and JWeb's got his Unbreakable available. Gank wasted.
Well, I mean, you know, they didn't even get a flash out. I was going to say, you know, at least they got the flash. Well, they get to crash the wave and get a good recall.
Positives.
But again, it's just like that's just the Dyna thing, is you just walk out of menacingly. Like,
right?
There's no follow-up. Lulu shielded him, but nothing really much happened there. Honestly, like, a Luna JWeb getting out of there feels so illegal. I thought they were going to die, but really well played by them to be able to escape. And Briar, I mean, still just clearing. I think Dyna's clear is... Oh, he stole the big raptor.
Big flex.
Oh.
Big flex. Sad face. Sad face.
That's so sad.
We're actually, yes, the Diana's actually ahead on the jungle clear at this point. 44 to 38 CS, and even got the gank off. Didn't really get too much of an advantage for the bot lane, as you pointed out. So...
Yeah. I mean, it's mostly due to Briar doing that three camp gank top. Didn't get a lead of camps, but you know, Diana also just has I'm pretty sure just a faster clear speed, with her having a lot more AoE than Briar does. You know, she's very single target damage. So clearing things like raptors and wolves are a little bit more difficult than it is for Diana. I mean, Diana's a very fast clear, especially after first recall. So we'll start seeing Diana kind of turbo farm, and then after she does a full clear, then she'll start to want to kind of gank, but she's kind of... Yeah, I think she's just going to go to Raptor. I was going to say, there may be an angle topside, but with Mordekaiser having ult, it feels a little awkward.
Yeah. It looks like we're getting some movement over by the dragon. Zhao's going to have to back. This is going to give mid-prio over to Slime, over to Kashmir. But it looks like Lashback might be able to sneak this. Wave is slightly in the favor, pushing in their favor. Zhao's actually stuck around here to keep Kashmir's attention. He's going to be able to get out with the hook shot. He's going to ult to try to get the wave, but he's going to get caught here. Just a dash in. Hashi with first blood. What a little overstep, and what a free gift for the Diana.
Yeah, we're talking about in the green room a little bit. The only way the Astromeat can really get this game going and make things happen and be in a winning state, in my opinion, of the way that their draft worked out, is just accelerating the game and punishing mistakes. But they might just be making a mistake themselves. Yeah,
the ult's going to miss here. Panda Boy's still going to get cleaned up on Hashi. Briar is on the way. Kashmir has arrived. This Mordekaiser is trying to act bigger than he is. The ult will clip, but he's going to kill the Yasuo. He's on a 2-for-1, and I think Yaga's going to be able to actually stun. Kashmir is forced to flash out, no mana, and now the kill goes over to the Briar, so I'm sorry. I don't think anyone was prepared for that much damage to come out from the Mordekaiser, and now we're brawling a bit. Bot lane. Ulta has hit. Luna's going to be able to get the space here. Exhaust goes down to the Shizen. He's going to keep brawling with the JWeb. Can't really get towards the main damage deal. He's going to have to flash over to try to catch Shizen. Did not get the knock-up, and now the ultimate's going to come back. The culling knocking down Shizen, and now a double kill over to Lune. We're at a 5-1 thing. Lashback with the lashback on the attempted plays from Astromeat.
I think an unofficial ace there for Lash, but Hashi coming through.
Looking for another E-dash to get a free kill.
JWeb, help! JWeb, help!
Nope. You don't window shop to save yourself and your AD carry. Your job is to protect your AD carry, and you did not, my friend. You let him down, and now we have now the Diana's accelerated, but I'm not sure if it's going to matter.
We've all been there. I mean, but to be honest, I think that was a great look into what these future fights are going to look like. That Yasuo Shizen, like, that was mechanically played really well. A really sick Keyblade that he hit on the QE flash to be able to get more damage and maximize a lot onto the Loon. The combo of, like, you're talking about the Yasuo ult and then layered into a Lulu ult and then a polymorph on top of that, but he's still not dead and then it's just out damaged. Astromeat runs out of damage so fast. I mean, Mordekaiser lived for 15 years, man. Victor just walked up to the Mordekaiser, ulted, and he's not even half HP. This is the problem that we're going to start seeing, and this is why they need to accelerate really bad, because they need an immense amount of damage to the point where they're just throwing their wallets at them and winning fights like that, or else they're just going to end up winning or losing the game.
And Kashmir's going to get caught here on the way back here. Jagan and Zhao teaming up, and I think it's going to be cleared and taken care of. Boomerang knocks in, and that's going to be the first kill over for Zhao to accelerate to get this action on the board. Alune going very low in that exchange, nearly under tower, but gets out again. The roam from this Victor put to waste. The problem is if your strategy to engage in these fights is to walk at the enemy, they can unfortunately walk away, and that's what we got to see with that game.
It's kind of what a lot of their champs want to do is, you know, Lucian likes people coming at him slowly so that he can output damage and then dash away as he's outputting the damage. Braum, literally, that is his job, is to have people come into him, and then he just puts up a shield and puts a wall in front of them so they can't get to their carries. Mordekaiser famously also loves people walking into him. Briar, I mean, again, not quite sure what she does, but I'm pretty sure she likes that, because then she doesn't have to, like, expound her ult or anything. You know, like, these champs are so happy with what they're facing. Great trade topside. I mean, just the Yone ult into Mordekaiser just bonking him down and walking away as well. Mordekaiser having ninja tabbies as well. That's kind of the breaking point of this lane. He's kind of immortal. He has Rylai's now unlocked. Oh my god. Top lane is Thanos for Lash sides, or Lash's side. Essence River as well. The Hex Optics for Akshan. So he's actually going to be doing a lot of scaling damage, a lot more than I'm used to. If you're doing like the lethality Akshan build that you used to see a lot of, like Collector, Eclipse, back when Akshan was really popular. So him having crit is going to have a lot more of that late game scaling. It's going to make him a little bit squishier, which is a little bit scary because you're not going into any of those like bruiser lethality items, but it's going to allow him to just one-shot everyone on Astromeat's side because they're all fairly squishy champions.
They are, and we're seeing that very good map control and map play priority from on the side of Lashback this game, and the gold advantage is on their side. There's actually this is a 2.3k. This is a 3k gold advantage right now on the side of Lashback. Astromeat might actually already have their game 2 might already be over. Their first loss might be in hand. We'll see how that plays out, but Lashback has pretty much prioritized the map. The Briar is taking the second mountain, so we're watching once again where Jagan, and maybe with helping out Alune on just calling out what the team's doing on the map, has pretty much been able to control the map, control this Diana, and not really allow them to even contest the first 2 Drakes. They've gotten them for free. No team fight, no contest. Zhao put on really good damage onto Kashmir, onto the Victor, at about the 15-second mark before it even spawned, but held on to his ult in case there was going to be any more contest. So I'm seeing a lot of good things out of Lashback, even though we saw a lot of overstepping in the first game.
I mean, the thing is now, like, Lash has no obligation to even do anything. They don't even need to fight, even though they're going to fight bot side with Victor getting the roam.
Oh, and Kashmir has the Reus teleported on in. This might be enough here. It's going to be a big blow up here. I don't think Alune's going to be able to get much damage off here. And now J-Dub's going to have to flash over the wall. He might still be dead. Kashmir going to get the damage pop. He's going to be able to... J-Dub's going to be able to jump to a minion. Sean... Oh! Shizen jumps on in. Gets the kill over to Kashmir. A little bit of a counterplay, a little more gold in the pocket, and they might even be able to get a good amount, at least 1 plate on this turret. But Zhao's pushing on his side. He's maintained his priority. They have done the trading. Wave's going to get cleared. And now the Mordekaiser, he's teleported bot. We're starting to start seeing some rotations around the map. And oh boy, the Mordekaiser has found the Yasuo. And Panda Boy is on a killing spree.
Dude, I mean, he just has top tower already. He can just do that. Like, he doesn't need to be top anymore. He can just collect free kills. And Dinah, well, that's her whole damage down. And it did half of his HP. Nice.
That's everything. But this Briar wants to
Victor's
fight
dead.
here. Briar wants some blood here. The Victor might have overstepped here trying to support the Diana. I'm going to see if anyone's going to be able to get in. It's going to be jumped on in. Action has arrived. He's going to take out Kashmir and Hashi. He's looking to be in pain. Flash is out. This is a little bit of trouble here. Herald is available, and it looks like all 3 grubs were even collected by Lashback. So I think Jagan's actually kind of run an absolute train on Hashi in these first 2 games here, and just even objective priority. We're fighting over the wall here. Shaizen's going to have to put down the wind wall just to buy himself space. And Alun just stepping up, trying to abuse these auto attacks, these double shots. And now the ult's going to come on in. Alun might die. He is not. Jagan clears out. There's the final kill. It goes over to Yallinger. But this is still overreaching on the side of Astromeat to try to get something. And was that the ultimate? That was the ultimate.
Yeah.
So.
You know, as much as this game is doom and gloom a little bit for the side of Astromeat, I do really want to commend Shaizen. He's making this game a lot closer than I thought, just due to him being really good at Yasuo. Like, it is very impressive, the mechanics that I'm seeing him do. Earlier, when he got that double kill bot lane with the Victor roaming behind, it was his Keyblade that allowed that play to happen. He was the one engaging with his own flash. Like, he's providing his own
We got to jump
knockups
onto
for his
Kashmir
team.
here. He's going to get blown up. I bet slowed. And Zhao with a killing spree as well.
Like I said, that's the one redeeming light so far for Astromeat. Everything else is really, really rough to look at. Also, you know, Hashi and Shaizen, they won 2 Diana Yasuo for a reason. We need to start to see them play together, right? It's Diana Yasuo. They need to play together. They need to start fighting and fighting skirmishes. You know, I said it in the draft, and I'm going to reiterate it now. Second item is really where they start to play really well together. They just need to find that timer, but instead it's timer top of... Oh, wait, Briarrolt.
Briarrolt has arrived. He's going to be really low health at the start of this, but he's going to be able to get the blow up onto the Yone, and I don't think you're going to have a chance here. Screams him into the wall, and that's going to hurt, but I think Alun's going to be able to walk this Diana down. The Yasuo's going to arrive. I don't think Briar's going to have a chance here. Q might come up for the stun. He's going to get a little bit of health, but that's not going to play out the way you want it to. And now the Braum has just been beating up Yallinger. Brought him down to half health. And now Alun and JWeb are surrounded. Hashi is going to bait him on in, but the knockup's going to secure. They can't even get the kill. They can't get anything back here. This is kind of what Astromeat wants, are these brawls, these scrappy situations that allow these ults to combo and allow for Shaizen to just go on in with this Yasuo and really put some damage down. And that'll be...
Yeah. The light at the end of the tunnel has been brighter as we see just mistake after mistake from Lash. They put themselves out of position. They're no longer on a line of scrimmage, and that's exactly what Astromeat needs to be able to get some sort of advantage. Really good gold swing. Yasuo got an 800 gold bounty on that on the kill onto Briar. That accelerates him to be on a very large lead against the Lucian, now having Shield Bow and Bork. So from here, and if you can get this second item on Diana, that is the timer for Yasuo and Diana to be able to play. This is kind of their realm and their timer to get the map accelerated on this third dragon.
And this looks like really awkward right now because Astromeat are on the same page to try to get into this fight here. Briar's going to be brought on in with the recall, and it's going to take a lot of damage. Big scream out from Briar, and now the combo comes in from Hashi and Shaizen, but I'm not sure if it's really going to take. The Mordekaiser has put Hashi into the death realm and is just taking him down, has returned, slams Yasuo into the dirt, and now Victor trying to get the recovery. JWeb is not going to do him. That is an ace for Lashback, and the dragon stands up and available. We're going to replay here. This was rather disconnected from Lashback, but Panda Boy holding this trying to bridge this for the rest of the team. Zhao sitting in the quiet. This ultimate from Briar hits onto allows for the Briar to get into the middle. This big fear across everyone. The scream for the double stun on the Shaizen and Yallinger just ends it. The Lulu gets absolutely destroyed. And now Mordekaiser are sitting in the middle of them and is allowed to get the kill, come out with the stats. absolute execution. Yeah, this is great.
I mean, the biggest thing there as well is the fact that, Kashmir. Well, first off, Kashmir had so much uptime, but because he's so behind, the damage doesn't really do anything. But the biggest highlight in that fight was that Shiz and Hashi had a really good combo. They one-popped Alun, put him out of the fight. But then from there, they kind of run out of... They don't have any more sauce to play with. They run out of gas because they don't really have champions that play around Yasuo Diana very well. They don't have consistent damage of another AD carry to play off of the space that Yasuo Diana are giving. They burst Lucian. That's all the damage they got. Diana Yasuo don't really have more than that burst, and so then they have to look at the Akshan, the Mordekaiser, and the Briar with just tears in their eyes because they're like, well, I don't have any more damage. Do you? No? Okay. Well, I guess we just lose. But, Alun dies again.
We're watching that combo again here. Alun's lasting a lot longer this time, but Shizen will get the kill. They're going to find the ultimate to catch J-Web. So looking for the fights, catching them out of position in mid lane. So still sitting all right, but still a sizable gold lead on the side of Lashback.
Yeah. Still a great play from Astromeat. Just keep punishing and keep using this Diana Yasuo ult off of cooldown. But here comes the lethality Briar.
Ultimate's going to come on. I don't know if the rest of them are available. He's going to get a lot of damage on the Shizen. Briar trying to tank. Gets the stun onto the wall. Panda Boy fighting under the turret up top lane against this Yone. I think he might have overstepped himself. Action's going to get the kill back onto the Yasuo. So some still proactive play. Looks like an overstep there by Panda Boy. So we're teetering a little bit back and forth, it feels like. That's an ult. Hashi is not going to like this.
I'm just going to die. One more bonk.
Bonk's got to land here. Misses it. Gets the kill, but still already low. Panda Boy's going to get counter-killed. That's going to go over to the Yone. And now Zhao and Alun need to figure out what they want to do.
I don't think they need to do anything. There's nothing up. Yeah, you can get some more kills, but, no dragon, no baron, no need to throw away any sort of lead. Just collect some waves, push for dragons, and they're going to commit to this death bush onto potentially Aquanic, but I don't really see the angle that they do.
Good step back from Zhao there to not get blown up. We have a death bush, yep, and Shizen.
Shizen's there?
That doesn't hit, doesn't take. They're going to get a blue buff.
We're just dropping mid waves on Lucian, which, I guess it works out, but they get blue buff, but, Lucian misses a whole wave, and it's just awkward. You're already kind of the target for the enemy team. You want to be accelerated and making sure that you're not super far behind, collecting all those resources, but, I guess they're just going to try and kill this Diana, who is now alone. Oh, she's dead.
Ouch. All right. Well, so that's another one on the actions pocket. So,
yeah, that's a big boy.
That's a big boy right there.
He is almost 3 items on auction. That is a 3-item Mordekaiser pulling up to this next fight, by the way, with Hex Tech. Oh my god.
Yeah, I didn't know that Hex Tech was going to be an option for the Mordekaiser, but I do find the funny is like you're in the death realm with me, and then fast bonks coming. And Kashmir's going to try to contest here, but he's going to get flashed on. The ultimate from the Briar used feels like a little bit of an overstep. The knockup's going to hit Luna, and they're going to go for it, but Shizen's going to kind of take a little bit too long to jump on that. And Legendary now acquired for Zhao on this action. We might be spiraling now. 5k gold lead.
Yeah. Good flash from Aquanic. He has barrier, though.
Baron secured.
We're a little late. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Luna getting killed. Okay. Akshan, don't give it away. He's going to get the final auto. Saves himself from the Yone. That's an ace. Oh. Okay.
Yeah, that's all. They're all dead. Well, I was gonna give you, Church, a really cool fun fact that actually not a lot of people know about Mordekaiser. Something that they did, I believe it was, I think a year ago. It might have been 2024. They buffed Mordekaiser in a fun way, where they put his Q to have 100% AD ratio on it, which is why Hexperimental plate is actually really viable on him is because it makes his bonks also do more damage. So like 80 on him isn't that bad. People went Bruiser Mordekaiser for a little bit. I think I kind of got noticed when FlyQuest was doing their Worlds run where they almost beat Genji, and Bwipo was playing Mordekaiser a lot during that Worlds. So yeah, that guy hurts. Is it possible to click on him and see how much HP he has? Because I think it's like 5 billion. Almost 4K. Jesus Christ. And then can we check again on what the damage dealers are for Astromeat? Yeah. Okay. Yasuo Yone. So I don't know if that Mordekaiser's ever dying.
Well,
that guy is Thanos.
And there's something about how Astromeat have actually played these engages where it feels like they're still indexing their ultimates to blow up the Lucian. But if we just actually look just middle, we don't even need the full gold graph. The biggest gold lead for damage dealer is on the side of the action, but I bet he's just too invisible that they can't actually focus on him. Lune might be a solid damage dealer with the Lucian and has no gold lead actually compared to the Yasuo, but there's no other real good target for Astromeat to focus on. Like, do you want to spend all your damage and ultimates on a Mordekaiser that can just exit to the Nether Realm and say like, you know what? See ya, and then comes back twice as strong. Like they don't have options here.
Yeah, he kind of just eats it. Well, also like if they did use Dino, Yone and Yasuo all on Mordekaiser, I don't think he dies. And even if he does, that means Akshan and Lucian both have full uptime. Oh my god, a bonk.
Cashmere's dead. Mid lane's trying to get run down here. They're trying to get on J-Web and Illume, but they don't really have options.
No, they don't.
Oh, the ult's going to hit here. Aquanic trying to get something done here. He's going to get some good damage. I think he's going to be able to pop Illume. He almost gets it. Shiza's going to try to come on in, and Naka's going to hit. He's going to be able to at least blow up the action. Big shutdown gold. That was 1,150 gold in this Yasuo's pocket. Double kill there. Like, the light at the end of tunnel is kind of, it's available, but it's still an 8k gold lead.
But, like, also, just look at how many resources it's taking to get these kills. It's taking everything, which then allows Jogged and Panda Boy to then just kill everyone and clean up. You know, the people that survive are the ones that are going to be doing the most damage. There's so many threats on Lash's team where that's the problem with this Diana Yasuo comp that I was also seeing in draft is, you know, that is a single target kill. Like, it is I see one or two people grouped up and we're gonna one-shot them, and then they're out of damage, right? When you have 4 people that can carry these fights, you can't kill all 4 of them. They just don't have enough damage to do so, especially with how accelerated they are. And I know we're starting to kind of sound like a broken record with how much. Also, we have a lethality Briar with Infinity Edge.
This Briar, this jungler is actually a threat now. Is almost full build, and Briar is, just from the cursory knowledge that I have of Briar is kind of a de facto tank by build, but building damage onto her just really activates. Ultimate acquired. Aquanic, you're not going to be able to escape here, but I don't think Panda Boy is too scared of you. Misses the big bonk. This is going a little bit out of his favor. He's going to get the kill. Zanya's activated, and this is just enough time for the rest of Lashback to show up here. I'm sorry, but Astromeat, you don't want to be here. Yallinger going down. Lune finally getting to go off here, not getting focused, not getting blown up. Kashmir bonked. Double kill for the Mordekaiser. We're going to break some inhibitor turrets now. We're going to get some progress into the game. The plot is developing, and they are now flexing their now 11k gold lead to start getting to some in-game objectives.
You know, like, they might push to end here. 15 seconds remaining on Yasuo and Diana. They have 3 grubs. They have 280 carries. I think this might just be the end. It's not even a plot developing. It is a plot ending. The resolution is found. Lash just take the win.
Books written. We have a 2-0 to start the season, and Shizen leaves early.
I mean, bro, with the performance he put on, I low-key would too. I mean, mechanically, he played that so well, but that is a tilting Yasuo game to be able to play.
It was a very hard game for Astromeat to try to pull off there. Shizen doing his best, trying to make the calls, trying to make the plays, and getting a lot of successful at least combos initiated to get put a lot of pressure and put the Lucian out of commission. But just going to scratch this record one more time. lot of other threats from elsewhere, and if your only target is really the Lucian, because you don't want to put that on Briar, you don't want to go on the Mordekaiser in the action. You can't find him because he's invisible. Really a cascading problem, as we see from the gold graph, just kept getting worse, and that puts it. Lashback Foundation get to open their season with a 2-0 over Astromeat.
It's a 3 block, not a best of 3.
Oh, it's a 3 block, so
yeah, there's one more game.
We still got a third game, Church.
Okay, so it is
Boom.
So we have a full best of 5, basically, or am I?
No, it's just 3 games. 3 games flat.
So it's just 3. Oh, it's 3 games flat. Okay, that's what it means. Okay, sorry. Thank you, production. So we have one more game. My failure to understand how this thing works. So forgive me, audience, as we roll through. So I guess I would actually put it to you. I don't know if we need to cut to break, but I would actually just want to pitch. What would be the adjustment you would actually pitch for Astromeat as we try to go into this third game?
Just never pick any of those champions ever again. Well, okay, that's maybe a little harsh. I think okay, this is the thing about draft is genuinely they're most of the time, I would say 80 or 90% of games, draft is not the determinant factor of why someone lost. Yeah, it gives teams advantages, but there's always windows of opportunity. I think both of these games, they have given themselves drafts that are just really difficult to play. And this is something that we talked about last time we cast together, Church, is in this kind of level of play, if you just have an easier draft to play, it's just, you win more. Just, don't overcook, just draft some comfort champions that like to play with each other, give yourself a standard AD carry, and just also take a deep breath and, leave your room for a second, get a glass of water, mental reset, because that was a brutal game to just be able to hop off after and have to queue up another one. So take a breath, reset. Let's get just a standard draft going. Nothing crazy. These games have been decently close. They have really great players. Just try to, just make it easier for yourselves.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. I think we can jump to break from there. We will see you back for draft for game 3.
Guys, I'm really glad they got swept that hard because it made my crash out of the draft a little it makes sense. Now you guys understand why I was so.
I understood all that. That's fair.
Dude, that was not, dude. If I saw an LCK or a professional coach, if I saw a professional team have that draft, I would see everyone on Twitter be like, someone got paid to do that. Someone got paid.
That's a spot bet situation kind of thing.
We spent 2 hours at a draft meeting, and this is what we came up with.
That's that's insane. That's insane. That's one of those kind of comps you'd expect one of the bottom tier LCKs to do. Just be like, you know what, we can't win standard against Gen G. We might as well go crazy loco and try to smash or something like that. But I'm really appreciating that it's their first games, and Lashback actually, at least because of they're keeping the same consistent team in these first 2 games, they've just been able to be stable in how they've at least taken care of the objectives, particularly the jungler with the dragon. That's a good vote of confidence to me for how they're starting out their season. Yeah. That's really,
you always get the first 2 dragons, which in my opinion, I don't care how losing your lanes are, if you can get first 2 dragons, bro, you are putting yourself in a very good spot.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
So they're keeping,
I think I love dragons.
Yeah, they're actually awesome. So I would expect the same thing. So I don't know if you're looking at that final boss for just this series, but they're keeping Jagan in, and now Ben-Ass, which is Tony, the captain, is in. J-Web's staying in, so there has been a mild rotation on their side, and Jesse will be in. So Astromeat's support is female, if that affects how you've cast, and Aquanic sticking in top side. So there's been
who's female? Sorry.
Jesse on Astromeat.
Heard. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So
it's good to know. Thank you. Good comps.
Yeah.
Good comps.
Dragging up in 2.
Oh, by the way, one thing I should note: Prod won't be me most Sundays.
Okay.
Heard.
I have another guy He does Sundays usually.
I hope he's just
I'll
as
miss him.
charming.
Yeah. Am I gonna fall in love with him as well, or?
Like,
He definitely has. He has a little bit less knowledge about like the league process and stuff than I do. So at the end of the day, if you have any questions, I'll still be contactable. So you can always DM me or ask me during the call
right.
between games and such. I can still do that. I just won't be doing prod.
All right, fair enough. Cool. Easy enough.
Or-
Figure out roll through.
Yep.
But in terms of casting, that felt I like those faster switches and goes were it was
Sounded
nice.
good.
Yeah, it felt really good.
No, I appreciate that, and I think I'm hoping that my play-by-play is still spotting what's important in the fight as it's happening and such like that. So, as well as just stopping and letting you like run a setup, because I think this one was somehow like just like a 5% less fighty than the first one, but our rhythm is still getting better. Cause I even made a note because I actually have reviewed at least our first game from our first try from like the other Tuesday. Our chemistry out the gate, like I like to think our chemistry out the gate is pretty good, you know. So it just comes down to just getting more and more familiar, just getting a solid duo.
Yeah.
And our humor is quite similar. Like I'm tossing up silly things, and it's going well. So pretty happy about this.
I love having a silly duo because sometimes I bounce around a little bit. I cast a lot of different leagues and stuff. And when I have like a dry co-caster, I'm like, I just feel like I'm caged, you know. And I'm like, come on, I need to make it silly.
No,
I need to make it silly. I'm itching. I need to make a joke.
Yeah,
and I'm sure you can tell with how like the whole premise of this league, you can make silly is all you want.
Oh yeah.
This league as a whole is fairly silly.
No,
so.
I have to show this. Hold on, let me kill that. Come here. I did not want to open Vegas. Like when people in this league have, where's that image? Copy image, and then where's our prod chat? Yeah. When there's memes like over in Jecky's team, they have memes like that.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. Every time I open up the Final Boss Esports general chat, it is the funniest shit ever. It's so funny, bro. Like it's so
we got some goofballs.
That's what you want, man.
Oh yeah, that was the name of a team in another league.
Yes,
very similar.
Yeah, that's what Jackie was telling me. I'm just like, these are my people, dude.
like someone just posted this GIF, and I'm like, yeah, I'm keeping that. I'm taking that. Like,
what?
That's awesome.
I mean, you're casting Astromeat right now,
dude.
God damn. What am I looking at?
And I made a reference to Lashback's name. I hope they enjoyed it if they watched.
No,
I'm a Deadlock enjoyer. I like Deadlock. Deadlock's cool.
No, I asked him because I have read Lashback Foundation. I was like, this feels like something. And there is where's my note on this with Tony? So it was something like, he actually has another friend that's not in this, but Deadlock is the obvious reference. And I think he mained the Lash or something like that. And then, or something like that. And has a foundation for kids that kind of suck, I believe is what the character the Lash has or something like that. So he's literally created the Lashback Foundation that I guess is a Deadlock reference. So now it's just, this is kind of his team for kids that suck. So that was like the interplay of the name of the team that Tony's pulling off. That Ben Ass, actually, he'll be, I believe, 80 carry for this round. So there's some clever Joes in this one to have keep the funny, keep the entertainment value just in what they're doing.
I think they're about to get into draft.
And this is actually the first one where we have the lowest point values for game 3. But
they're also dead even.
Exactly. That was my second point. So thanks for stealing that. But like, yeah.
Yeah, fuck you. Oops. Don't talk again, okay? You go back to producing, all right?
Sure, yes, sir.
Get in your box. So this is fine. In a way, it feels like they're actually both tossing. So this might be the messiest match tonight.
It might just be.
Yeah.
All right, I'm about to toss you guys a draft.
Gotcha.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Alrighty, let's round this out here. For those that are unaware, this is a 3. I just learned it. I got corrected by production because I'm a bad boy that can't read the rule book properly. This is a 3-block game. This is how this season's going to go. So no matter what 3 matches are going to be played, for the point values that will inform how we get into playoffs and so on from there. Now, to give a quick overview, this is going to be game 3. We actually have a full 145 for point values across both teams. And both teams have actually switched it up. Scorp's been traded out to come in for top lane. Jagan is still sticking around for the jungler. Sleepily is in for, let me see here, for Zhao. So we'll see an adjustment there. Benas, the captain, Tony, is in for bot lane. And J-Web sticks around as well. So we can go through the rest of that. I don't mean to bore everyone. Bans are coming in. And we already got our first pick.
Man, they love Lucian on Lashback. And I mean, hey, Lucian's sick. Oh my god, okay. Are they just gonna drop Seraphine on 2 immediately? I'm down for it. Hey, if you want to drop Ash Seraphine 1-2, I'm down for it. I was gonna bring up the fact that, one of the subs for Astromeat is a Sona 1 trick, Jessie. She's a very high master. Well, I was gonna say usually a high masters Sona, but I always forget that high masters is now like 900, 1000 LP. But like a very solid player that plays a lot of Sona. But Sona and Seraphine are very similar champions, and Ashe Seraphine is a very meta 1-2 right now in higher regions. Not a lot of teams have been able to crack how to deliberately counter this pick, especially with the kind of answers of being, okay, if you're going to play Enchanter, I'll play an Enchanter as well, and just do like a Corki Nami or a Lucian Nami or a Karma lane. Those were usually the answers, but those have since been nerfed. Seraphine hasn't. So they're going to go with Lucian Nautilus as their answer, which is very coin flip, Church. This can either be very good for the Lucian, or if they make one mistake and allow Ashe Seraphine to choke you out and just get pushed and be defended, will be not fun for the Nautilus.
No, and I imagine that's the best answer that they could have, since the Braum actually got banned out by Astromeat. So I imagine they were trying to get the Braum once again for J-Web to really set up that easy stun lock with Braum's Q, but denied, and now the engage and super tanky option for J-Web is still available. But I would not be surprised if Hamilcar and Jesse end up kind of dominating this bot lane, and Tony and J-Web have to kind of figure out what they want to do. There's a slight mismatch with Jesse being like a tier 2 versus a tier 3 on J-Web, but J-Web's been doing entirely good service so far in this series. So one of the things I'm looking forward to find out in the season is who is actually like a lower tier, but is actually really undervalued. The Victor coming back in for Kashmir, for Slimer, so still looking for that that control mage to play and work out. We'll see if Sleepily has a counter. So this feels more stable. Like both teams currently have stable comps as we're rolling through this.
I completely agree, Church. I think like so far, especially Astromeat's comp, I mean, those are 3, like that is a scary 1, 2, 3. That is a lot of scaling, a lot of control, a lot of CC, and a lot of splash damage. There's just a lot of damage being output. What I want to be seen paired with it is I want to see a Bruiser Brawly top lane, or something like an Mbessa or a Renekton or something. Oh, Renekton just got banned. But something similar to a Renekton, maybe a Gnar if you're really Korean. And then just a Bruiser jungler. I want to see like a Xin a Vi, something like that, to be able to kind of bridge the gap, because Ashe, Seraphine, Victor all want scaling. They want time to be able to play the game, and they need a jungler to give them that time. And a lot of meta junglers are those kinds of junglers. The Xin the Vi's, the Pantheons as well, to just be able to scale. And all of those junglers love to play with Seraphine. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. You don't really need engage because you have Ash Arrow, which is a pretty decent engage, especially into Nautilus Skarner. They're pretty big boys that can get hit by the Ash Arrow really easily. So far, I really like Astromeat's draft, and they have a lot of flexibility to go with on this 4-5.
Yeah, right now the best thing I can say for Astromeat is that there's a lot more agency. Okay. Oh, alrighty. Well, and we just hit a hard left turn there with the Rengar pick.
Whoa.
Okay, come on back. The Seraphine and the Ashe at least provide an engage option, but now we have a Rengar, and I kind of wish there was an Orianna in the mid lane, so this Rengar kind of had another opportunity as a hoppy boy through the brushes. Astromeat's still... They like to play some special comps, it looks like.
Yeah, it's a great way to describe it, and a lot nicer of a way to describe it than I would. So thank you. Okay, this is the thing, is like Rengar, maybe if you played it on 5, I would make more sense, but right now when you're facing Lucian, Nautilus, Skarner, like what is your target as Rengar? You know, you jump in, you're getting Nautilus hooked, you're getting Nautilus ulted, and you're just dead. The Zoe pick from Sleepily actually does give Rengar another target to play. Zoe can't really do anything into Rengar because he can cleanse the sleep and then just run you down. But still, it's like that heavy CC of Skarner, Nautilus. And the Akali top into Yone is actually really sick to see. I've always been a fan of Akali top. The only thing is now you're very magic damage heavy into 2 tanks. So Merc Treads are going to be really useful, which is nice for the Rengar. But Merc Treads into Ashe Seraphine is already really strong, and then you're forcing Victor to have to fight through the Merc Treads, and now Akali also has to fight through that heavy magic and magic resistance that they're going to be building. So Akali's not going to have that good of a time in terms of like that kind of damage split, but I will say, like, I think Akali's going to have a decent time diving their backline with Ashe Seraphine. She's going to give a lot of space for Victor Ashe Seraphine to be able to cook. So maybe not my preferred 4-5 on red, but I do see what they're cooking.
Right. Well, and I was just looking at my notes here. There is none of the at least initially known or reported shot callers, but like Alun and Kaiser are not in Lashback for this match, so I'm curious to see how well they'll stay coordinated. I really feel like, just from how the Dragon Control has gone, that Jagun actually has shown up as another shot caller for Lashback, which is why, like, you know, Ben Ass has come in, but Ben Ass, who is also Tony, did not list themselves as a shot caller type player, as a very vocal player. They were going to be discovering that beginning of the season and so on. So I'm curious to see how well coordinated Lashback stays. Astromeat, I believe, is probably kept in Cashmere, is kept in Slime, as no one else, at least in initial word from Shizen, informs that there's anyone else on this team that's there to like make calls. I'd like to think that the bot lane between the Ashe and the Seraphine will be able to make clear calls, because really with the rest of their comp, there's no other engage other than the Seraphine or the Ashe Arrow. So started strong, have some ways to engage, but Hamilcar's got to nail these arrows if they want to be able to jump on and blow up the Yone, the Zoe, and really support Rai air power on this Rengar.
I will say one thing about modern Akali, which it sounds really silly, but it kind of is true when you watch like LCK especially play Akali. Akali kind of is an engage tool. And now, that may sound weird, but let me cook. When you press R1 as Akali and you dash in on them, and then you press, W, and you're in the cloak, it adds a lot of disruption. And then it forces the other team to kind of make a lot of answers. It forces them to kind of fight into you. From then you layer in the Ashe, Seraphine, and the Victor, and you have space to be able to fight. And it kind of disrupts the way that things happen. And you're just buying time. You might not even have to put out that much damage by just sitting in Shroud and allowing the disruption to happen, and then finding a window from there once the follow-up happens. So that also is an option for them to be able to play with, especially with Seraphine ult on top of the Akali or Rengar jumping in. But not having any sort of... this is my concern, Church. Who is tanking the Nautilus hook? Because if it's Akali, Akali's going to die. If it's Rengar, Rengar's going to get one popped. And if it's one of the backline members, well, they're also going to get one popped, So that's where my concern is, especially with the burst damage of Zoe Lucian. But again, as we keep saying, this league never fails to impress me. So you never know. We'll just have to see on the Rift.
Alrighty, well, that's the tee up. Let's see if they can let's see if Astromeat can at least get one in the hole on the night. We will see you at the end of the break. Don't go anywhere. you know, they were doing so good in the first
They were doing
rotation.
so good, man. It was so good.
Dude, it's funny because as soon as I saw the Elise ban and I saw the first 3 picks and I was like, oh my god, Tvan's gonna freak out when he sees pick 4 because I knew exactly what it was gonna be because this guy's a very small champion for the jungler.
Right, yeah.
he's a very solo queue jungler. He doesn't play comp. So I knew it was gonna happen. I was just waiting for Tvan's reaction. And in the background, her just talking when it gets locked down. I just hear the.
You left your
Like,
mic.
I was astonished. And when I like Turner's reaction too, I'm like, wow. That is a champion we could lock into Nautilus Skarner for sure. We can lock that in.
Yeah.
We chose that.
I'm reminded, I made that little YouTube clip from that Ryze teleport bot lane for that Tuesday match we casted where we both went, oh. I don't know if either of you looked at that clip, but I was reviewing that game and the Varus had gotten like super low from the Ezreal and then it's like, well, he's there and oh, like we both said oh at the same time as the Ryze comes in.
It was right when the Ryze ult like circle popped up. It's like that bro's fucked. He's dead.
Estás muerte. You don't have a chance, my friend. Oh my gosh, this is
how
great.
small of a champ will do? Like, can we not just like raw dog a Vi or Zinzo or Pantheon? Like, they're not that hard to play, are they? Like,
No idea.
It comes. I think that comes down to confidence. Like,
my assumption is this guy will learn.
Maokai, like, I mean, Maokai's terrible, but like, come on, like, at least something, bro.
Yeah.
Sejuani, like.
My assumption is that this player will learn within the first 2 weeks of the league that he needs to add more to that pool.
right,
Yeah.
right.
I mean, I remember I played not a for fun tournament. It was a LAN tournament that my college was hosting,
Nice.
or my old college, and like my old varsity team that I played with, we all like got together and made like a group. But I was off role because I'm usually a support player, but I off rolled to jungle, and dude, like I just picking it because that was Maokai, Sejuani, Vi, Zinzao meta, and I was just like you just play like you just learn their clear, which is super easy, and you just play a couple games. You're like, okay, yeah, I get it. Like these are pretty
Basic.
straightforward champs.
Yeah.
You know?
And if anything, you just on the Vi is just like wait for your Ahri or whatnot to call for like a gank opportunity, and then just show up and easy.
Press R on them.
Exactly. Well, charm into the queue. Are they already chunked down from the trade? You know, R for the insurance, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Or like R into the charm.
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit.
It's like if you expected to leave this lane at any point, I'm gonna have to ask you to reschedule your travel plans. Thank you. Jesus,
Dude, where's Tun Sahur?
Oh no,
Game 1.
Trinity was only in game 1. Trinity was only in game 1. Yeah, Tung Sahori is only in game 1. So.
And he's not using that IGN, bro. Like
No, he played on his Trinity account.
And I appreciate that as someone who's getting all these
dude.
notes, trying to keep things consistent for the community or whatnot. You know,
Tun Sahur, bro.
I guess my general hope, since like this will not get streamed to millions, but it's like I kind of hope people get to rewatch this, hear me and Tvan's like casting over it, and be like, no, it's a lot of fun to rewatch this, see our mistakes, and then hear these guys just be like, what the hiffle are you doing, bro?
He's an Elise one trick. But he plays Nocturne. He has Nocturne games. Nocturne's good there. I could see Nocturne playable there.
Yeah, for sure.
but did Rai remember that he plays Nocturne?
Hey, it's 50% win rate. He has a higher win rate on Nocturne than he does on Rengar, so
that does
it makes sense. Rengar is kind of
well. Then I go back to the part where I would have preferred like an Orianna option, you know, the Orianna Nocturne option to like enable this, especially, you know.
Yeah, it's a classic. Dude, if they had Orianna, Nocturne, Ashe, Seraphine, it's like, dude, that is the most like LCK draft I've ever seen. That with like a Renekton or a Gnar, I'm like, yeah, that's just like, you would show me that, I'm like, oh, Gen G drafted that, didn't they?
Right.
Like,
right.
I mean, somehow they would have secured those 4 characters, but.
Right. But, I don't know. We'll see.
I don't mind the Victor, though. I like Victor as a champ.
No, I love that they actually did the adjustment with the evolution, where the ultimate actually ends up being like a giant circle instead of the same thing for the whole game. I was like, because the first time I saw that in ARAM, I was like, holy fuck, wait a minute. This has become an ult that I have to care about. It used to be like, okay, I'm getting sprinkled on, you know, eat my whole beehole. Like, where are we at on the timer, by the way?
I just loaded in.
Okay, cool. So
we're going to go into game.
Awesome.
In 3,
Hell yeah.
2, 1.
Game 3, final game of the night. Both teams have switched up their rosters a bit, and once again, Astromeat has maintained a very consistent theme of a specialized comp that must overcome the great odds of the standard, in a way, teamfighting comp of Lashback. We're gonna see how this goes.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, I'm actually really curious to watch this this top lane matchup. So Akali into Yone, like Akali is an answer into Yone, or was in the mid lane a lot. You would see back last year when Yone was very prevalent, Akali was kind of the answer that a lot of people would do. But something that not a lot of people think about in terms of matchups is the lane itself. And it's like, oh, well, it doesn't really matter. It's top lane. Like, it's the same kind of lane. But actually, champions like the longer lane more than others, And so I'm curious to see if this matchup changes at all due to that fact. I do know that Wk1 is a very, very high, very esteemed player. He's a very good player, and he's usually a mid laner. So seeing the Akali be picked up is also, in my eyes, is very just smart to go with. It's a comfort champion that he's played over and over, and it's a matchup that he probably knows a lot more than Scorp does, just due to the fact of the nature of mid lane. And so I'm excited to see how that top lane matchup
Scorp is also an off-road mid laner.
The most volatile in terms of the 3 matchups that we have today.
Was that also that Scorp is roll locked?
Scorp is also an off-road mid laner.
Okay. Thank you, production. So, all right. Well,
he's a Zed player.
Fair enough. Well, sort of a rough trade here for Benas and JWeb. Bot side. Both junglers, though. Looks like the Skarner's actually gotten a little bit ahead of pace across the map, but both junglers have actually been clearing top to bot. Curious. Doesn't look like we're actually going to get any ganks here. Benas and JWeb taking the safe early backs after those trades.
Yeah. It's really smart for both jugglers to do, just due to bot lane also being Armageddon. The way that this bot lane matchup kind of goes is if Nautilus hits a hook, it's a lot of damage and could be a kill if they're under 60% HP. And if they miss the hook, then that's the timer for Ashe and Seraphine to be able to play. But it's actually a really scary lane for Ashe and Seraphine to play. You kind of feel the Silent Hill music playing. Exhaust going off top though. That's going to be a pretty hard trade for Akali.
Scorp and Wk1 going at it. Only looks like a trade of exhaust for flash, so slight advantage there for Scorp. Gotta be able to push this wave in. I don't think we're gonna get much else. No junglers nearby, so a little bit of threat.
Yeah, Akali's got pots. And if he needs to, he can always TP, but I mean, he probably just won't opt to trade anymore. Just Q poke, and yeah, with the recall changes, is easily able to just TP back the Cole pickup for Ashe Seraphine in the bot lane too, just showing off the scaling. And again, as long as Astromeat just continues to just chill, lane and life is really good for red side. Oh
that
my
is an
god,
awkward teleport by Wk1. He's going to use his shadows to get out of that, trying to get more damage on the Scorp, but he doesn't really have any support nearby. Bot lane, big damage going on to Hemiklar. Gonna be able to get out of it, trying to get some counter damage, but that early back giving some bolstering ability for Benas and JWeb here in this bot lane. So still a similar exchange of damage and just early fighting and trading like we saw in game 2, but still no big breaking points just yet.
Both subs were used for Ashe and Seraphine, no barrier and heal. They do still have their flashes up, though. But Seraphine being able to technically out-sustain this lane, early game Seraphine heal, on the Encore W, doesn't really do all that much. It's, I think, if I'm remembering off the top of my head, 80 HP, and a lot of mana, and a 20-second cooldown, level 1. So, and most Seraphines will either put 3-point into Q or max it off rip, and then W max second, the former being more common. So you're not really getting that much healing from the W early. So these trades are still, very good for Lucian and Nautilus to get. Just keep bursting, and then the next hook that hits Ashe will most likely be her death sentence.
Yeah, and cleanse on the Lucian, so looking to keep that in hand. Kashmir is going to be a little bit of trouble here. This Zoe has no problem going point blank. First blood over to Flashback. Well, Sleepily is here to get some damage in and has no problem. I don't know if you saw that earlier trade where Sleepily Zoe in this match there on the left side of your screens just walked straight up to the Victor and just bubbled him in the face for the half health damage earlier, and that just set him up for just that kill. And we're gonna have the hook going on in. Hamilcar getting caught, gonna have to flash out here. This is exactly what you're talking about. The damage is stuck, and now priority given on over to Lash back here in the bot lane.
Yeah, Jesse has to use so much mana to just be able to maintain HP bars for her and Hamilcar. The thing about W as well is it's an expensive ability, almost 100 mana at level 1. That's like a third of your mana bar early on. And yeah, in terms of that Zoe-Victor matchup, I didn't think this would be that deadly for the Victor. But it turns out like Zoe kind of just walks into his face and out-trades him. Does the kind of a similar trade pattern that Victor does, but just better.
Feels really greedy from Tony, from Ben Ass here, sticking around, getting a little bit more damage onto Jesse. I don't think the kill is an option. Ult in from Scorp, trying to catch Aquaneck, but going to be in the smoke, going to be able to get away, and not really much to be said there. A little bit of a gray, and we're back. First Dragon taken over by Lashback. Again, Jagan here as the jungler on this team has done a magnificent job in all 3 matches to secure the first Drake, first 2-3 Drakes. And that trend continues.
Yeah, we were talking about that in the green room. I'm always a fan of the people that stack Drakes. You know, I'd rather have 2 Drakes in my pocket and be down a couple thousand by 15 minutes than vice versa. You know, just having that soul threat just allows you to have so much, ease of the game. But it's a fight in the mid.
Right, in mid, Jagan's going to get jumped on here. The Impale is not going to hit, and Rai just keeps running and jumping and stabbing. Zoe on the run here. Sleepy going to do his best. J-Web's going to get the stun. Going to have to Rai flash this over the wall to get the Dragon Pit to escape that. That kill went over to the Rengar, and accelerated Rengar is a scary prospect. So good progress there for Astromeat to at least get this. A Rengar behind is basically just a useless ward bot in my experience. So good to see at least that catch there. It's got to keep going though.
Yeah, and pretty mechanically well played from him to bait out the abilities and then stall it out and then go back in. Speaking of scary, okay, I thought they were going to be in danger. I didn't know if J-Web was going to look for that hook or not. If he did, it would have been quite the fight. I don't really know who wins with Encore being up for Jesse and no dredge point for the Nautilus. That's kind of awkward. Anyway, but they're chilling. They're fine. Everything's good. Everything's stable.
I love that J-Web's kind of doing the Mickey Xing of just posturing and positioning themselves in threatening situations. Not exactly in the enemy jungle, but just being like, I'm going to stand here just long enough for y'all to second guess if you can contest this wave. And just give that space for Ben Ass, for Tony, to just keep farming and just be ready to jump. It's one of the things that I've learned with hook champions. It's almost better for you to hold the hook and have the threat, and that will buy more space. So I'm really appreciating where J-Web just, I think, has a very good mind for the game for how they've played in these 3 matches so far.
Yeah, and Brom's not an easy champion to play per se, mechanically. He is pretty simple, but oh my god, some movement from Kashmir to recover himself from what would be death easily. But yeah, I think J-Web's always been in the right place at the right time. You can see the coordination as the series progresses, that Lash just kind of has that coordination of a team. J-Web and Jagan are always on the same side of the map. They're always playing together. They're making a play together. Sounds like, yeah, obviously you're going to make the play together, but with sometimes how Astromeat was looking, it's more difficult than you think. Oh my god, he's dead?
That is insane here. They actually come in together here, get stunned up by the gravity well, but have the damage to finish off Slime. So fantastic. Scorp looking for something crazy here. Is not going to be able to get the kill. Down to 1 health on that Akali. Alrighty, that is some fun little plays here. A slower match to start out this game 3, I would say. But some very interesting plays. That Zoe Skarner combo in the mid. Was not expecting that to play out that way.
Yeah, the leads are really just low-key, like, just bleeding leads, right? Akali is slowly just losing gold from the XP and waves that she's having to drop every once in a while to recall. I honestly think that the biggest thing that is making this matchup difficult for Aquanic
Arrow goes wide here.
lack
Tony's going to be caught up here. He's going to start putting some damage back here. The ult's going to hit from the Seraphine, but Hamilcar is kind of caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, and Benas is going to be able to take him down. Jesse flashes away to save themselves, but that was a very ill-advised situation to get yourselves into. Trying to get the jump onto Benas, but it just does not take. The arrow goes wide, and then they are caught out.
Yeah, that's kind of why I didn't like bring it up. Is I thought like once the arrow is missed, they're just gonna kind of move on. There's not really a fight there, especially with the posturing that they had. They're kind of flanking as if they do a lot of burst damage. But Ashe Seraphine want to kind of whittle you down and play like a line of scrimmage almost, and just like go at you forward, and not do anything fancy. So the fact that they commit to that, I mean, it's really awkward. It's exactly how Lucian wants to play, especially with the Nautilus hook being there, which I don't think Astromeat was really expecting. It's just a really easy 2v2 kill to be able to get that acceleration going in Lucian's side, which is exactly what Lash needs for the way that their comp works.
Yeah, and at this point, like, J-Web and has been able to just really... I would actually put, and they get the benefit because they played all 3 matches, but I'd probably give just like an MVP over to like Jagan and or J-Web for just how they've actually played out these 3 games so far. We're 12 minutes into game 3 here, but it still feels solid. 2 grubs up on the side as well. First dragon, the control, and then J-Web just rotating around the map, being there for plays, even if they miss, being there to, you know, get the counter punch on that little gank that Hamilcar and Jesse were trying to go, and they're jumping on in here. Root's going to hit. Ben has going to be able to jump out. He is very low health here. Culling's going to come out. It's not going to hit much.
I think there's no Victor here.
Still a Victor, but they're late to get over to this Mountain Drake, and they're kind of looking for a fight here. Jesse brought so low heal used to keep him alive, but sleepily, a very competent Zoe here has been abusing Kashmir in the mid lane, and then just finds a pick and really threatens the entire backline of Astromeat.
I mean, yeah, Jesus Christ, that damage from Zoe. But the biggest thing is, again, it's kind of the lack of the lack of coordination from Astromeat. Kashmir is on a reset there. There is no way in hell you can ever fight that. He doesn't have TP because he took Ghost in the way that this game is going. So he's off map. It's a 3v4, and it's a 3v4 against Zoe, Nautilus, Lucian, Skarner. Like, you need members to be able to try and compensate for the lack of frontline to tank the hook. And so Rengar kind of is just going in alone. Ashe doesn't do any damage yet. He doesn't have an item. Seraphine, you know, needs people to be in front of him. And, you know, Rengar just going in, jumping in, gets a little bit of damage down, but nothing much. And Zoe just has free reign. That's the lack of coordination that we've been seeing from Astromeat this whole time.
Ouch,
and now Kashmir is just going to
ouch.
die again.
Oh, you are on fire, and so is the rest of your life here. Sleepily goes 3-0 against Kashmir here. This is getting rough mid lane. The mid laners on the side of Lashback have been surprisingly good, I would say, so far, and not what I expected. One of the things that you kind of think, okay, we have another bit of action here. Hamilcar is going to have some problems here. The root's going to hit. Hook to keep him close. Damage counter. Hamilcar is going to get the kill, and J-Web's going to have to clean that one up. So that looked like that was way more in Lashback's favor, but it looks like the damage and at least the counterplay, the ultimate from Seraphine kind of helping buy some time to get the counter kill.
I mean, that's best case scenario for Astroworld or Astromeat. I think about the album, man. Is getting a kill. I mean, that you should just be dead to rights there on that first Nautilus ult with how disconnected Hamilcar and Jesse were. But, you know, being able to trade 1-for-1, not bad. I will say, probably still better for the Lucian. Like you said, Lash, like, you're getting gold in Lucian. He loves gold. So does everyone. But, you know, he will accelerate and completely take over this game. He's going to one-pop Victor. He's going to one-pop Ashe Seraphine. Just being able to give Lucian the ability to just dash on anyone he wants without any remorse is exactly what he needs. Same thing with Zoe. She is going to be a terror in these fights. If they ever do a coordinated Dragon fight and Baron fight later on in the game, the Zoe just doing... If she can get a couple trouble bubbles off and a couple paddle stars before the fight even breaks out, the fight will just always be winning for Lash.
Exhaust coming out from Scorp onto Aquanic, and Aquanic going pretty low here. Still caught in the smoke here. The ult's going to miss. Your flash out is clean. Damage still pretty high, but he's going to come through in the Q, auto, and that's going to be a kill. Bot lane's already blowing up as well. The Seraphine's been caught and destroyed. Not even any real ultimates used. They just probably get this, just pin him against the wall with Jagan. Lost his flash on that one. So, kind of an across-the-map bit of fun here. But there's no real great acceleration on the top side here. I don't think either top lane is going to be really relevant until we get any team fights. So, an advantage acquired for the Akali, but this Zoe's a problem.
Yeah, and it's just going to get worse and worse. Again, there's not really much that Astromeat can do against the Zoe. They don't have like a
bubble
front
hits
line
here, and there's going to be the catch. The bubble hits. The paddle star is going to smack. That is 4-0 now on this Zoe. First brick goes over to Lashback. Where the ball's rolling, and that light at the end of the tunnel, it's closing. It's closing here for Astromeat.
Yeah. I mean, again, like we were talking about who's going to tank the Nautilus hooks, who's tanking the Zoe bubbles. You know, this is where you'd want something like a Xin Zhao who can at least like try to ult while you're getting Zoe bubbled and see if you can mitigate some of that damage, you know, or anything that can eat it up. But no one is going to be tanky enough on Astroworld to be able to eat it up. Instead, it's Rengar ulting from behind the Yone.
This might hit, but the E did not connect. Still going to get the kill on a Scorp. He's going to get out and get alive. So they're actually trying to index. Ooh, Ghost used. Zoe gets out of the gravity well. Survives that all-in from Kashmir. Still looking to make some further. J-Web has arrived, and so has Ben S. Kashmir, you're going to have some trouble here. Seraphine here to provide cover. Saves their mid laner. But you might have just given Zoe a target. Hamilcar not going to block, and I think if Zoe had done the auto attack, Jesse would be dead.
That's a dead Seraphine. And again, it's not going to get better. In Church, it's not getting better at all. Like this is what it's going to look like for the rest of the game. I think the only win condition here for Astromeat that they need to start to accelerate is the fact that he's dead. Oh, that's a dead Ashe. Bop. The only hope that they have is get Aquanic in a side lane against Zoe. That is literally the only way that you can win. Is get him into a side lane and be able to try to kill Zoe on side lane, because Zoe is very defenseless on the side lane, just like Victor is here. Yeah,
Victor pinned against the wall here. Ben S ready to collect the kill, and that's going to be a three kills over to the Lucian. So I checked my notes. Kashmir Slime is the only sort of known shot caller, at least at the beginning of the match, and he's getting really bullied here. Scorp trying to get a counter kill is going to be able to take out Rai. Aquanic there to clean it up. So good on Scorp to get the trade in that 2v1. But I still don't expect this Akali to really be able to do what it takes to win this game. Jesse's going to get put into the wall here. Jagan looking for a problem. Impel's going to miss. So that's less than ideal.
Yeah, I mean, all eyes on Aquanic. Just really bought Rabadon's death cap. Is now in the side lane against Zoe. This 1v1 is absolutely vital. Whoever gets the first kill in the side lane, or gets the first gank, or anything, is going to win the game. This is kind of the breaking point here, right? First Baron is about to spawn in about 40 seconds. Soul is about to come up, but Zoe's just going to rotate to mid, which is smart, you know. I think she's also identifying the fact that if she dies, the game is over. And instead, let's just kill mid.
Towers down here. Hamilcar's going to have to flash away here. Jesse's brought low, has actually been taken out. Scorpion's trying to get into the middle of that. Gets nothing. Gravity well hits, and Zoe's actually going to be brought low, but he will survive. And now Hamilcar trying to step forward, trying to put some damage down, but I don't think it's going to be for much. That's a 2-for-0 exchange.
Aquanic's rotating.
Aquanix's looking for something, but they're not going to be able to catch them, I don't think.
Yeah,
So-
it got spotted on 2 different pink wards in the river, so Aquanic is unable to get anything going. Instead, it's just Yone being able to push out the lane, and a lot of dead bodies in the mid lane from Lash. But Akali's still sticking around, putting pressure so that they can get a push. But again, it's just desperate plays to be able to try and get themselves back in because they know how doomed that this map state really feels.
Yeah, this is a really hard pressured situation. I actually just realized, when's the last arrow you remember Hamilcar throwing?
I saw one in that last fight. It hit Zoe, which is what led Rengar to jump onto the Zoe, and didn't get the kill.
When I asked that, because Ash Arrow is on a very low cooldown and reserves the option just to be at least a zoning, if not just a cross map option to enable Aquanic, Rai to get a playoff. And I'm just thinking, like, it hasn't really been used that much. Doesn't feel like it's really been used in lane. They've lost their advantage there, and they're not even trying to, like, throw the arrow on a cross-map options to lock down the Zoe and just have that assist across map. Jump in from Rai. He's got him. Zoe is not going to get this one. The Rengar going to get a 1,000 gold shutdown. That feels good. I'm not sure, actually, if it should have gone on to the Rengar, but at least it's a little bit of progress for him.
I think, again, and I'll bring it back up, the only win condition for Astromeat is side lane and punishing this Zoe on side lane. She just can't side lane by herself. She needs constant attention from jungle and probably support, or else Rengar is just going to continue to do that, and Akali will do the same thing. And so accelerating the game that way, and I completely agree with you, Church. I think that's a great read that they should be coordinating overloads on side. Rengar ult with Akali ult on top of an Ash arrow onto either Zoe or even Yone on side. I think it'll be a little bit more difficult on Yone due to having 2 different escape tools, but Zoe can only dodge one spell of an Akali E or an Ash arrow with her ult, but then she's still stationary and allows a really easy kill. She's very volatile and vulnerable towards the mid side, or the side lane. So that is their win condition. That's their way into the game. And so that's the question. Oh, good flash.
That's an interesting quest, and Zoe's going to get taken out here. There was posturing. Astromeat was actually bringing themselves down to the river to take care of and deny Soul Point. Lashback has actually indexed himself into Soul Point, unsurprisingly, and there's no teleport on Scorp on this Yone. So Astromeat, Aquanic catching sleepily on the Zoe in the bot lane, indexing into what we're talking about, that win condition to just keep shutting down the Zoe in the side lanes. Dragon Spawn, Infernal Drake is here. But Hamilcar has come back mid and is going to get CC locked, blown up. Tony's going to catch the kill. I don't know why Kashmir is here. Jesse going to be here trying to save it. The ult's going to clear through. This might actually be a fight in the favor if the Victor can stay alive. Next target needs to be, I guess, J-Web. Kill over to Victor. And now Jagan doing his best, throwing his pincers, but is not going to get much else. Did he just try to catch the wolves? And now Aquanic is going to be able to get in front of Scorp to block the ultimate, put him at short range, force the flash out, but now Scorp's going to try to get some counter damage in. Not really catching too much. Zoe's arrived from the Death Realm. Alrighty, so long sequence. Dragon?
Yeah.
Dragon's going to be denied. Okay, there we go.
A really fun sequence there from Astromeat. They overload side, and by overload, I mean Aquanic just completely smurfed on the Zoe. A really well played R1 flash predict over the wall. And landed the rest of his combo. From there, they tried to Death Bush and collapse onto Lash by giving up mid wave and just sitting in the banana bush outside of blue buff. But instead, Lash is overloading mid and trying to get mid tower. Hamilcar just threw himself at them, got Nautilus ulted, and got all of their cooldowns from there. But when they run out of damage after Lucian getting one pop by Victor and Rengar, then the fight is actually pretty winning. Jesse landing a really good 3-man ult on Seraphine, able to collect that Lucian kill, and then the rest is up to Kashmir, which he had a lot of free space to get that damage going. And a really well-played sequence from Astromeat. That's the kind of sequence you need. Start with killing Zoe offside or push her out of side. And then from there, with mismanaged members, then you can play her front to back with Ashe Seraphine.
Oh, J-Web's going to get caught up, hooks into the wall here. He's going to be able to at least get the auto attack to give himself a little bit of tankiness. J-Web's going forward. Impale's going to miss. Ult from Jessie to try to save herself, but nope. Tony wants to go into the tower, collects the triple kill. Baron's up. The equalization, we were at an even gold state about 30 seconds ago. We're now back to a 2k gold lead here for Lashback, and it's going to get worse. The jungler is dead. There's not much that Wk1 can really do here. And Victor's going to try to push mid-wave. Zoe's going to blow up this Akali, and Scorp's going to collect the kill. Yeah, no, the coordination, the map play from Lashback is standing out. And it's kind of a no contest.
Well, from there, you see that we learned the wrong lesson. Astromeat did. They thought, okay, our Ashe Seraphine combo is looking good. As a 3-man core of Ashe, Seraphine, Rengar, we are strong. Because, guys, we did it with Seraphine, Victor, and Rengar, and we won a team fight from that. So, surely if we do it with Ashe, Seraphine, Rengar, it'll do the same thing. But we skipped the step. We skipped the step of Akali being a part of the play because Akali has all of our gold. She is the strongest member on our team. 100 CS up on our own AD carry. So if Akali's not a part of the play, then you're just going to get one pop by Zoe every single time. So as long as Lash keeps grouping up like this and they have the tempo to do this, it's just going to be desperate play and desperate measures.
I feel like Jessie not actually indexing into a Mikhail's is a real loss on account of these bubbles and how much sort of CC options there are on the side of Lashback. Yeah,
I do agree. I understand where she's coming from, though, because Seraphine does want a lot of different items. She's trying to, she wants the Echoes of Helia. I'm assuming this next... I actually don't even know what that second item is. But she also wants the tier item. But I do agree that Mikhail's was pretty important to be able to cleanse those Zoe bubbles, as, one bubble is a death. Seraphine is one of those few supports where she actually does need items.
Air from downtown here. This Skarner is going to get blown up. Wk1 is going to secure his 5th kill. That's a good little kill, but Dragon's up in a minute 30. So a little bit of a misplay by Dragon, but I don't feel like it's going to be really any real consequence. Maybe some map control, maybe they ward around the Dragon, but they're going to need another pick if they actually want to continue denying the soul point against Lashback.
This is the Astromeat that I know and love, that I've been watching for the past 2.5 hours, more than 2.5 hours. They are going to overextend here because they're got a pick and they're going to feel really confident, and I'm going to watch a Zoe one pop someone and then they're going to lose soul.
Close?
Oh my god. Can you imagine?
you were on... I would have asked you your lotto ticket selection immediately after that victor was popped, if it had happened that quickly after your own call, because that was fantastic, sir. I'm impressed.
Thanks. Yeah, but like you said, they actually do get decent dragon control. They got a couple wards down, so they're gonna force sweepers out early just to reconnect. But because they overextended, they're actually just fully losing control. River is now gone. And Zoe having river control is terrifying because now you have to
the bubbles landed on the Rengar. He's gonna be able to cleanse it out.
Or into Zoe. Yeah, no, I mean, like, even if Rengar lives there, like, look at this Zoe. Look at where she's posturing. How do you enter? It's got to be through mid. But even then, you're just getting pelted.
And the vision control is really powerful here. Impale's gonna grab onto the Yone. He's going to be able to get himself dashed out. There's a big fight here, and Yone's gone super deep here. I'm trying to get the other side of the fight here. Ryder's going to get jumped on. Scorp with a second kill, and the damage is rolling. Kashmir's going to get hit by the Nautilus ult, but there's no really any follow-up. The advantage is actually on Astromeat. Wow. That's a 2 for 2 actually exchange. Mid lane Prio goes over to Astromeat, and Dragon's trying to sneak this Dragon right now. They've just realized that J-Web's going to play buffer, try to probably sacrifice himself. The Dragon is still half health. There is no smite on the side of Astromeat. They've got to try to burst this. It's going to get secured, and Dragon can just go through the wall. Scorp's going to dash over, and that is Chemtech Soul secured by Lashback. And there's not a counterplay on the map for Astromeat. Baron's up in 2 minutes. This is This is kind of a big doom and gloom right now.
I think they just had to fully commit to the mid tower and get that. But I will say that is probably the best case scenario for a fight for Astromeat. They didn't allow Zoe to poke. Instead, they just initiated a full fight. It was mostly Skarn or Jagon that did that. Just fully engaged. Didn't allow Zoe to for a couple rotations of her spells, which is so needed. And then it allowed... Oh my god, Akali's just going to one-pop. R2?
R2 nails?
Yeah. So that R2 is exact... Oh my... Well, I'll talk about the team fight sometime.
Jesus! Ray just ate him!
Actually... So what we just watched right there of Rengar one-shotting and Akali one-shotting is what happened to Zoe and Lucian in that last fight. TLDR. Which is exactly, how Astromeat can win the game. So, we're learning. You can see them actively learning. Rengar is very strong. Oh my god, he's 4 items.
Yeah, Rengar is dang near full build right now. This is not your tier 1, game of a Rengar. This is a Rengar that, as we can see, can one-shot the Lucian. And unless there is some hard CC or something to actually prevent the Lucian from getting popped, there's a problem here. I'm actually spotting, it doesn't look like the Aegis got popped if J-Web was... I think J-Web was there, at least near enough for that play. Who knows if it would have actually helped, but everyone's a threat. The gold lead is actually ticked over to Astromeat for the first time, like 800 gold lead. Like a little bit, like kind of not too big of a deal. But the game state is even outside of the Soul being in the favor of Lashback, and it's about Baron time.
This game is coming down to an Elder flip, to be honest. In terms of the survivability, though, for Lash into 2 Assassins is they do have Chemtech Soul, which, does give that resistance. Lucian now has the Buckler that gives armor and AD, so he's building into a GA, so he's going to have that armor against Rengar, and he has the shield bow shield to be able to try to prevent that one pop. So I don't think he will die by 1 hit from Rengar anymore. It will definitely take a little bit more effort, but it's enough damage to really make Lucian not be able to play these fights very easily, which is a lot of Lash's gold away. So then you're kind of relying on Yone Zoe damage. And again, you need to give Zoe uptime, and you need to give her rotations to be able to get poked down and then commit to a fight. The question is now, is Lash capable of being patient enough to let Zoe hit a couple bubbles before you actually engage?
Aquanic trading out with Scorp here. Scorp kind of missing a lot of spells after that first rotation. Giving another look here, not to pick on Jessie, I'm just realizing it looks like she's indexed it into 2 different healing items. To maybe the mindset there is to counter the poke from the Zoe. I appreciate the sentiment. I'm not sure if it's going to play out in the way that would be fully countering the Zoe, because Zoe is pretty much either 100 to 0 or 100 to 5 health left.
I will say the amount of shielding and healing that Moonstone, Echoes, and Seraphine and Power W does is a lot. Like this is Seraphine very strong and at a very good point. So like I think these team fights are going to be pretty good as long as they continue to stay as a clump. The thing is the rest of Seraphine's team doesn't really want to stay as a clump. Rengar and Akali kind of want to be in the back line, but it will be really good survivability for the Ashe and Victor that stick next to her. It's just up to Rengar and Akali kind of pulling Zoe away from dealing damage to the backline and focusing on surviving the Rengar and Akali.
All right. So we're kind of at a neutral game state at this point. Waves are being... So Yone's having to catch the bot wave to sort of get that back into favor. Baron is still up. I think we're just looking for ultimates and summoners to be up. It looks like everyone's ready to fight. I can't really see that there's any major items to finish. Victor may be approaching his 3rd item and catch up to the Zoe.
I don't think he'll get it in time. If he's sitting on an Amp Tome, I'm assuming that's going into either a Shadow Flame or a Zonias, which are 2 different items that have a second component that goes with the needlessly large rod. So spikes are pretty far out from everyone on Astromeat. Lucian's been sitting on that Buckler for a long time, so maybe he's almost BF sword for that Guardian Angel. Jack Show for Yone is probably nearing here as well. So I think both teams are kind of just waiting for this Elder to happen instead of fighting for Baron, which makes sense in terms of the way that the spikes are looking. The question is, like you brought up, who will have more spikes by the time of this Elder? I mean, honestly, if I'm a Kali, I'm going to see if I can try to buy a Magi's before this fight, because this is the game-winning or losing fight right here.
It looks like we're going to have a catch here. Aquanet's going to get stunned into the corner here. The best target you could pick loses the Zanyas. That's not going to be available for this next fight here.
That's no Impale on Skarner.
Yeah, Impale was used and missed.
That is
a bunch of jump around here. Scorp going to catch, and the Ashe is going to get popped here. Hemlikar is going to be able to get himself out here, and Scorp, he's going to be able to get back. The auto attacks follow him, but now Joggen's caught. He's going to have to flash away here. Culling coming down here, and Aquanic is going to be able to survive, has to ult out here, but the Rai on the Rengar jumps in, doesn't get anything, and Hemlikar is going to get caught by the Nautilus ult. We're still running around. Hook hits J-Web for the MVP, gets Jesse, pops the Seraphine, and now Flash. Second Q from Scorp. Kashmir is going to go golden, but it's just going to be surrounded. The Gravity Well does nothing, and they're pressing forward here. They don't care about Elder just yet. They're going to take this inhib tower and probably the inhibitor. I don't know if they're going to push for finish. I mean,
10 seconds left for perfect execution to be back up. I think this might be winnable for Lash. I think they have the damage and the HP bars to just run it down.
But the bubble hits there, and the Ashes popped, and now exhausting the Akali. Aquanic trying to get himself out, but he does not have what it takes to even take care of this tanky Skarner, and this is going to be a 3-0 by Lashback, delivering the pain, using that paddle to the maximum to deliver a crushing final loss to Astromeat.
I mean, that was just... It honestly went a lot longer of a game than I thought. So, big ups to Astromeat. You know, kind of similar to what happened to Travis Scott in 2017. It felt like every game they probably... I mean, not in game 2, but they should have won. They should have won the Grammy, but they didn't. They just didn't really play to their strengths. They didn't play to what their they weren't coordinated as a team. They kind of made a lot of mistakes as a team, but I think there's a lot of hope for them. I think looking at the grand scheme of this whole league, they are a team to really be on your radar. They're going to be a very good team that has a lot of potential. But that potential needs to be realized from them. However, for the side of Lashback, they just look solid. Their drafting, I'm mostly agreeing with. I like the way that they're looking at the meta. I like the way that they play their game. I love the amount of emphasis they have on early dragons and always having a dragon lead in all of these games. That's a point of pressure that they're able to use throughout the whole mid to late game that gives them an advantage. So in terms of the perspective of the whole league, Lashback is a team that should easily be on everyone's radar to look out for, and they're probably a team that is going to contest the championship once we get there way down the road.
Yeah, Lashback just need to figure out what they can actually index further in for the progress of their season. Starting strong here with a clean 3-0 against Astromeat. And really the only major pain point that we spotted was in Game 1 and Game 2 with Lune just overextending and trying to carry too hard or too much. But the performance, like their two mid laners that they had between Zhao and then Sleeply on this Zoe, even if Sleeply's only brought in to just one trick this Zoe and the bans, this Zoe might get banned for the rest of the tournament for all we know. But the mid lane performance was fantastic, and honestly, if Luna can just kind of pull it back a bit and accept that they are surrounded by a competent set of players, particularly just seeing Jagan and J-Web just do so well, walking around the map, controlling the Drakes like we've pointed out. Lashback has nowhere to go but up. They have to look to not regress, if anything, and to iterate on their success. Astromeat, as you said, I love that they never really turned over and die. They were there to fight. They were there to jump in. They were there to look for opportunities. And some of those last fights look like they might have had a chance with just that back and forth by the down tier 1 in that last fight. And it just didn't really pull through. J-Web with the hooks and saving their ultimate for later for the second engage on the fight was just mint.
Yeah, I mean, just really good coordination from Lashback. You can also tell that it seems like their communication is a little bit more clear than Astromeat. It seems like everyone's kind of on the same page, and even when they make a mistake, they kind of make it as a team. The jungle support coordination, like you brought up, was immaculate. They were always on the same side of the map. They were always making plays together. It didn't feel like they were two different islands. And to me, and obviously I'm a little biased, I was a competitive support player, but like when I'm watching a team, I can tell a good team from a bad team based off of the jungle support and the way that they rotate on the map together. They need to stay hand in hand, and that's exactly what Lashback is showing. And this is one version of their roster, so it's hard to predict and like hard to really say like, is this the team? Because there's 5 other players that they have, but overall a really strong core that they showed off today, and I'm really excited to see what other variations they have to this core to bring to the upcoming games.
Yeah. 2 different rosters, really, with Jagan and J-Web as the core pieces for the 2 rosters that we saw tonight. And I think I will double check this after this match with Tony, with the captain. But it feels like the coherence of their plays in these 3 games feels very much reliant on how J-Web and Jagan are coordinating the team and keeping the team calm and focused. And that is very impressive for the beginning of the season. So I believe with that, we can close out. Congratulations, Lashback, on starting very strong at the beginning of this season in Astromeat. Gotta get this get a little bit warmed up and get themselves a little bit more together. And we will see you tomorrow night. We will have, I believe, the tomorrow night's matchup. We will have stream will be Think Rev Think versus SEAL Team Flip, Cosmic Reflippening. And so we will see you 8 p.m. EST. Good night, y'all.
All right.